All right, welcome in, welcome in. Take two here. I am solo today. Blake is busy with some school stuff, and he usually handles the technical stuff with starting our live streams and everything. So I was on my own here today. So apologies for the delay. Had to figure some things out, but we're live here. So yeah, it's about 2:17 a.m. here on the East Coast. So hopefully some of you guys are still up and still up for talking some fantasy football. I'm sure everyone's trying to finalize their lineups for week 8 here. Um, yeah, so I'll pull up the live chat here. We'll see if anyone is watching. Yeah, so just bear with me. First time going solo live here. All right. Just trying to pull up the live chat. We'll see if anyone's in here. All right, so we got the live chat pulled up here. It looks like we got one person watching. So yeah, we'll wait for we'll let people kind of start rolling in, but I'll just start talking about some things here. And I'll see if there's a way that I can screen share. I'm not sure if there is from here. We usually live stream using OBS, but I wasn't able to download OBS for my specific Mac, which is a little older. So I'm live streaming. I'm live streaming from YouTube Studio. So see if there's a way to screen share here. Hoping there is, so I can show you some of my dynasty lineups and some of the start sit decisions that I'm trying to make right now. Not sure if there's a way from here, so no worries. But yeah, I'll kind of pull up the schedule here for week 8. Um, yeah, and we'll talk about some of the best flex streamers for this week. I think there's some pretty interesting ones. We also have some injury updates that happened today or happened in the last couple days, especially. AJ Brown was ruled out for the Eagles. That was kind of surprising. And so, I mean, I guess depending on how deep of a league you are, it could make someone like Jahan Dotson interesting. I've picked him up in at least one dynasty league where he was just sitting on waivers. I'm probably not going to end up starting him, but I don't think he's a terrible option. I mean, he's got a great matchup against the Giants this week, who are allowing a ton of fantasy points to wide receivers this season. So I think you could do worse than Dotson if you're really kind of desperate or if you're in a deeper league. Another guy that comes to mind is like Van Jefferson on the Titans. Calvin Ridley's been ruled out again. And Van Jefferson, I mean, it's definitely not a sexy name, but he's put up decent numbers like the past couple of weeks. So again, kind of a guy if you're a little bit desperate there. I mean, I think a lot of tight ends are viable this week. I mean, just staying in that same game, Chigo Okonkwo, I think is pretty good. He's coming off of a goose egg, but he's been decent this season. Hopefully the Titans offense starts to improve. But yeah, Chig has been decent though. I mean, again, another great matchup. I mean, the Colts are allowing a ton of fantasy points to both tight ends and wide receivers. Also, Chamir DK, we saw a pretty solid game from him last game. He had kind of a little bit of a breakout there. So I think he's another kind of desperation flex if you're really kind of scrambling for someone this week. Yeah, also Darnell Mooney. He's someone I actually just traded for in a dynasty league. And yeah, I mean, it's tough with all the buys this week. I mean, it really is crazy. I mean, yeah, so I have some fantasy teams that are just absolutely decimated this week. So I'm definitely having to get creative and dig deep with finding players to start on some of these teams. So I actually, because of that, I made a trade in a dynasty league. It's called Grease Bowl. Blake and I are both in it. And basically just traded I gave up Devontae Adams and basically got Rashid Shaheed and Darnell Mooney. So I thought that was a good trade just to kind of try to survive this week. I've got a pretty decent roster. Um, it's a 12-team league. I think I'm like seventh in points, but I've had some bad luck. I've had the second most points scored against me. Um, so I'm kind of struggling right now. I'm at 2-5. So I'm trying to keep the season alive. I'm not willing to throw in the towel just yet. So yeah, Devontae Adams is on a bye this week. So basically turned him into a couple starting receivers. Also got younger in the process. So I thought that was a decent trade. And here, let me pull up the live chat. We'll see if anyone's talking in here yet. But yeah, if anyone watching has any start sit decisions, drop them in the live chat or just say hi if you feel like it. Um, so yeah, I mean, I have no clue how many people are going to be watching this late, but hopefully some of you on the West Coast will roll in here at some point, and any night owls, hopefully you guys will see that we're live here. Hopefully hopefully you've hit the bell notification so that you get the notifications anytime we go live. And looks like we have Jay Dabs here in the chat. Welcome. Says, how's it going, man? 12-team dynasty PPR. Would you consider a Buka 26 first early, 26 first mid to late for Bijan? And you say that your running backs are Judkins, Scatabo, Travis Etienne, JCM. Your wide receivers are St. Brown, Abuka, Odunze, Devontae Adams, Josh Downs, Trey Tucker, and some rookies. Oh yeah. Oh, no worries. Hey, doesn't matter. Ask me anything. It doesn't matter if it's not a start sit question. Hey, I mean, at this point, ask whatever's on your mind. I'm happy to answer anything related to fantasy football or dynasty or anything else that you want to talk about. You also say that you have a Lave as well. So okay, so 12-team dynasty team is PPR. So I'm not sure which side of this trade you'd be getting. Yeah, let me know if you'd be getting Bijan or if you'd be getting the other side in that. But I can still, judge it just kind of blindly here, not knowing which side you would get, and maybe be even a little more objective about it. Okay, you say you'd be getting Bijan Robinson. I mean, he's been unbelievable this season. I mean, I could pull up his stats on Sleeper, but I have to think that he's. I mean, is he the RB1? I mean, if not, he's got to be really, really close to it. Actually, probably not. It's probably. I'm assuming it's Christian McCaffrey is probably the RB1. Pulling it up right now. But yeah, I mean, I want to get a good look at just how good he's been this season before I make a full judgment on how much to give up for him. Because, yeah, I mean, you'd be giving up a ton. I mean, gosh, a Buka, an early 26 first and a mid to late 26 first. Yeah, honestly, I mean, now that I look at that closer and think about it more, I mean, it doesn't even matter if Bijan was the RB1. That's way too much to give up for just one player. I mean, Abuka's been incredible. I mean, Abuka has to probably be worth pretty similar to Bijan and Dynasty. I mean, I can't imagine there's that much of a difference between the two of them. So on top of Abuka to give up early first and a mid to late first, that's way, way too much to give up for Bijan. I mean, Bijan has been great though, but I'm not sure if any player is worth that right now. I mean, I'm trying to think, who's the 101 in Dynasty startups right now. I mean, it's probably either Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson. And would I even give up Abuka an early first and a mid to late first for one of those guys? Like, probably not, honestly. So yeah, I would not do that trade. I mean, and I'm wondering, I'm assuming that was sent to you. I'm assuming you didn't send that out as an offer. Or I don't know if that's just a hypothetical idea, but yeah, if that was sent to you, I mean, that manager is asking for the world. So, I mean, you could try to counter that. But if they sent that to you, I mean, I don't know if they would be, I don't know how reasonable they are and how open they would be to something a lot less than that. Yeah, and then you say, that's what my brain's telling me, but Bijan, just different, LOL. Solidified, proven. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've got Bijan on two of my dynasty teams, and, I mean, he's just been great to own this year. I mean, you just set him and forget him. He just seems to produce every week. Yeah, just an awesome player. Yeah, I mean, I'm loving having 2 shares of Bijan. I'm certainly not looking to move off of him. But heck, I mean, if someone offered me a Buka, an early first and a mid to late first for Bijan, I mean, I would accept that in a heartbeat. I mean, I wouldn't even have to think about it. Even if I didn't have a ton of running back depth, I would just take the value of that, and I would just say like, I'll figure out something for running back later. I'll make another trade. I'll acquire a cheap running back that can give me some production right now, but that would just be too much value to pass up. So yeah, let me know if you want suggestions for like what to counter, or what like a more realistic idea would be to acquire Bijan. I mean, my thought would be, like I was saying, like a Buka and Bijan have to be pretty similarly valued. So, can you add a little something to a Buka to get Bijan? I mean, I'm trying to think of what. I mean, maybe a Buka's value is just like slightly down right now, just because he had the injury and he's coming off just kind of a so-so game on that Monday night game against the Lions. He had a ton of targets in the game. I think he had like 12 targets, but I want to say he only caught like 4 of them, which is kind of weird that he didn't uh, connect on too many of the targets his way. Um, and by the way, I'm pulling up the stats here because yeah, let's see how good like Bijan and Abuka have been this season. What's going on here? All right, sleepers glitching. What's new, right? Here, I'll reset it, pull it up again. But yeah, let me know if you have any other questions. Yeah, you say, appreciate the insight, man. Just looking for that RB1 to finish the contend window. We'll probably pivot the mid to late first plus JCM, ETN/ETN for the Josh Jacobs type. Okay, yeah, so let me think. Mid to late first, plus you throw in like a JCM or Travis Etienne for Josh Jacobs. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't hate that. I mean, Jacobs has been really good. He's heating up too. So, I mean, even that is, I mean, that's probably a fair price for Jacobs. Yeah, I wouldn't have an issue paying for that. And yeah, I mean, that'd be a really nice upgrade from JCM or Travis Etienne to add a mid to late first to them, get a Josh Jacobs. Yeah, that would feel pretty good. So yeah, if you're a contender, I'd have no issue with that trade. I own Josh Jacobs in a couple dynasty leagues. Like, he's been awesome. Yeah, so definitely don't blame you for going after Josh Jacobs there. And then you say sleeper glitches been crazy this year. Has to be all the betting updates. Okay, yeah. I mean, I've never seen sleeper this bad before in terms of just it going like slow and having lots of bugs and glitches and just like weird things happening. I also noticed when looking at matchups a lot this season that a lot of times it'll just like display the wrong score, something like really completely like wrong and wonky. Or sometimes it'll just say like the scores are like 0-0, even if, clearly there have been like a lot of fantasy points scored. So it's been really weird with that. So here, I reset the app. I'm pulling it up now. We'll see if it's any better here. Okay, season average 2025. Voila. Okay, we got it here. And yeah, again, apologies that I can't screen share. Again, this is my first time going live solo, so doing the best I can here. But yeah, the RB1 is Christian McCaffrey at 26.7 points per game, and that's just like in typical PPR scoring league. Jonathan Taylor's the RB2 at 25.6. Okay, and Bijan's the RB3 at 24.2. So, I mean, wow. I mean, that's still incredible. I mean, it's just a little less than CMC and JT, but I mean, he's been awesome. And then look, and then I'm seeing now Josh Jacobs is just underneath that as the RB4 with 20.6 points per game. So a little bit of drop off to Josh Jacobs, but he has been heating up. So I wouldn't be surprised if he closed the gap a little between him and Bijan. So yeah, I do think that's a great trade target. I mean, heck yeah, if you can get Josh Jacobs for like, half or a third of the price of Bijan, like, I mean, that sounds a lot more palatable to me. And then you say, oh yeah, always good for the heart attack when you were winning, then see the red probability bar. Haha. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yes. Yeah. Sometimes you're looking at those matchup scores just kind of on that sidebar there. And it's like, what? Like, I was just projected to win. Like, what's going on here? And then you realize it's just like sleeper being weird. So yeah, I don't know what's going on with the app this year, but hopefully they figure things out. But yeah, it has been really annoying for sure. Um, but yeah, interesting kind of looking at the leaders right now. I haven't really like looked at it like too much, honestly. But yeah, interesting to kind of see that. And then Jameer Gibbs is the RB5 at 20 points per game. Um, yeah, I mean it's a little surprising he isn't higher, especially coming off that massive game against the Bucks on Monday night where he scored looks like about 37 fantasy points. Like that was insane. It was great to see that because he had been kind of low key disappointing prior to that, and then he's got the bye this week, of course. Um, so yeah, honestly, I mean Gibbs. I mean, gosh, he's probably tough to buy coming off that massive game. But I was thinking maybe there could be a window to buy him just because it's his bye week. So yeah, I mean, there still could be. I mean, he wouldn't be cheap, um, but you could still try for it. I mean, if you have a pretty good record now, like especially in like redraft, I don't know. I'm trying to think like where is Gibbs more expensive in redraft or dynasty? I mean, it's gonna hurt either way. But either way, I mean, if you have like a winning record and you're in pretty good shape, I mean, heck, maybe you could pull off a last minute trade for Gibbs here before the games kick off. I think that would be pretty sweet if you were able to do that. Um, and then J Dabs, you say that's with Monty getting minimal usage too. It feels, yeah, it does feel like Montgomery's usage has been trending down a little bit. I don't know if that's a sign of things to come for the rest of the season. Yeah, we'll pull up. Okay, David Montgomery is at 12.3 points per game. He had a couple spike weeks. I mean, week 3 at the Ravens, he scored almost 30 fantasy points. Week 5 at the Bengals, he scored over 20 fantasy points. Yeah, outside of that, I mean, yeah, it's been a bit up and down. I mean, the usage. I mean, looking at it here, I mean, it's been like fairly consistent overall. I mean, he has double digit carries in what all but 2 of the games. In those 2 games, he had like 9 carries and 4 carries. Um, so yeah, I mean the 4 carries game was just a couple games ago. So yeah, I mean he only has 17 carries in the past couple weeks. Um, but yeah, I mean I guess it really hasn't been too bad. So I mean we'll see if things change at all after the bye week. Um, Obviously, like a lot of times NFL teams will do some self scouting and make some changes after the bye. Um, Often that applies to rookies. Like, I mean, you definitely see, you often see a bump for rookies after the bye week. So um, it'll be interesting to see if we see that for any of the rookies that are on bye this week. I mean, I'm trying to think. Okay, I mean, the Lions are on bye. I mean, they got like Isaac Tesla, although I think it'll be like hard for him to earn a role. And then what you have? What I think the Seahawks are on a bye this week. I don't know. Maybe Torrey Horton could Torrey Horton maybe get some snaps after the bye. Here I should pull up which of the 8 teams on a bye just to kind of help me here. Let's see, NFL bye weeks. But yeah, if you guys have any other questions or comments or anything, just drop it in the live chat. All right, NFL bye weeks. All right, we'll pull them up here. Oh wait, week 8. Yeah, it's a lot easier when I have Blake here as well. Yeah, it's definitely weird live streaming by myself here, and yeah, I don't have any kind of like overlay or any of that fancy stuff. Yeah, it's just my big old face filling the screen here. So hope you guys don't mind too much there. All right, so I'm pulling up the buys for this week. Yeah, so a lot of people are calling this Byemageddon. Yeah, it definitely is rough. I mean, so yeah, the 8 teams on a bye are the Cardinals, Lions, Jaguars, Raiders, Rams, and Seahawks. So yeah, in terms of like rookies there, I mean, yeah, I don't think the Cardinals really have anyone too notable. Talked about the Lions and the Seahawks. Oh, the Jags, Bashal Tutin. I mean, maybe Tutin gets a bump after the bye. I think that would be really cool. The Raiders, they definitely have a few rookies. I mean, Genti probably can't get too much more usage at this point, but maybe some of the receivers like Jack Bash or Dante Thornton could get a bump. And then let's see the Rams. I don't think. Okay, well, the Rams have what like Terrence Ferguson and Jarquez Hunter. maybe Ferguson could get a bump after the bye. I'd be surprised if Jarquez Hunter did. But yeah, J Dabs, you say Tesla's a guy I own that I'd love to move if someone values him. Love the talent, just feels like a better real life player than fantasy asset, at least for the foreseeable future. Yeah, I kind of agree with you there. Yeah, he definitely looks like a really talented player. So it's just a question of how is he going to get his opportunity? I mean, it does feel like it's going to be tough because I mean it's already so crowded with weapons on the Lions. I mean, even I mean, JMO's been brutal this year. Um, and yeah, it just seems like everything's being funneled to Gibbs and St. Brown, and Laporta's been kind of trending up lately. Although I don't think he did too much in the Monday night game. But yeah, I mean, as it is, like it's already hard enough to feed everyone, and then you add Tesla to the equation. So it's definitely an embarrassment of riches for the Lions, which I certainly love as a Lions fan. But yeah, it can certainly be frustrating. Like specifically for guys like uh, Laporta and JMO and even like David Montgomery, it kind of feels like you don't really know what you're going to get week to week. I mean, you're still happy to have most of those guys. Maybe not JMO right now, but Montgomery and Laporta have still been pretty solid. But yeah, I mean, you just kind of don't know what you're going to get. It seems like the only guys you can like fully count on are St. Brown and Gibbs. Hey, and we got Nahal in here. He says, "Yo, good to see you, Nahal. Glad you made it." Um, but yeah, with Tesla and Dynasty, I mean, I hate to trade away a player that pretty clearly looks very talented and has a lot of upside. I wouldn't blame you though. I mean, if you can move Tesla to a rebuilding manager that would be excited to get a talented player like him, yeah, if you can move Tesla for something that's going to help you now, I certainly don't mind it. I guess it just kind of depends on what it is. I'd have to kind of, I don't know, maybe I can think of some examples about what kind of players that I would move Tesla for a contending team. And the Hall asks, "Are you West Coast?" No, I am not West Coast. I live in Northern Michigan, so yeah, Midwest, but yeah, Eastern time zone. So yeah, it's like 2:39 a.m. here. So yeah, I wish I could have started sooner, but I was pretty much like working all day. And then I just got home, like I don't know, sometime like after midnight, and I basically had to figure out how to go live solo for the first time because Blake usually handles the technical side of things. He's got OBS on his computer, which is like the software that we use to live stream. And tried to download that. It wouldn't work for my Mac, so had to figure out another way to do it. And I'm amazed I actually figured it out. So it kind of feels like a miracle that I'm even live right now. So, but hey, I'm excited. I'm excited that I was able to go live, and glad to have you guys joining me. Probably won't be like the huge, the biggest crowd tonight, given the time and everything like that. But hey, I can give you guys more personalized attention. So ask me all the questions you want. If you have any start sit questions or anything about your dynasty teams or trades you're thinking about or strategy, or heck, if anything else you feel like talking about, even like non-football related, like I'm up for anything here. So yeah, let's catch up on the live chat here. Let's see. Oh yeah, so we talked about Isaac Tesla. Yeah, so I'll think of some players that maybe I would move them straight up for on a contender. Remind me to like circle back to that because I think that'd be kind of an interesting discussion. Because I do think that's a viable strategy. I mean, actually, that's something I did in my Grease Bowl Dynasty League, the same one that I did that trade that I mentioned earlier, where I basically moved Devontae Adams for Rashid Shaheed and Darnell Mooney. I also made a couple other trades this week, just trying to deal with this Byemageddon here. I moved Jaden Higgins for Rashad White. And I do own Bucky Irving in that league, so nice to get that handcuff, and I can start Rashad White this week. And then I also basically moved Bashal Tutin for Isaiah Pacheco. I also got Jacoby Brissett thrown into the deal. But I thought those were a couple of good moves. I mean, I hate losing Tutin because I think he's going to be great. But I needed a starting RB2 this week, and I think Pacheco is on the rise. We can talk more about him later, but let me catch up on the live chat here. Let's see. Oh, yeah, and J-Dabs, you say like a more talented Mac Hollins. Okay, talking about Tesla. Okay, interesting comparison. Yeah. I mean, yeah, but yeah, both white receivers. So, but yeah, I mean, in terms of like play style, like I don't know. I mean, I'd never really thought of Mac Hollins. I mean, yeah, I mean, doesn't sound like the most glamorous comparison there, but I mean, Mac Hollins is actually low key like kind of decent. So I mean, I don't hate that comparison. And then JDabs, you say everyone locked up through 2028ish with that JMO extension too. Yeah, I mean that's the thing with Tesla is that they just signed JMO to the extension, so there's just really like no path anytime soon for Tesla to seemingly become fantasy relevant, like outside of an injury. So that is the frustrating thing about it. So that's probably why like I really wouldn't mind moving off Tesla, but I'm certainly not going out of my way to because I just like having talented players. At some point, the cream will rise to the top. He'll get his opportunity somehow, some way. Either there'll be an injury, or heck, I mean, maybe the Lions trade JMO at some point. I mean, they're not even using him anyway, so maybe they should just trade him at this point and get something for him because he's too JMO's too talented of a player not to be utilizing and just having him run wind sprints. I mean, I think it's crazy. I mean, I'm definitely a big JMO fan. I mean, anyone watching the channel knows that. So, and let's see here. Nahal says these streams are always mad late. Hey, that's just how we roll here. I mean, at least with the Saturday streams. I mean, that's definitely been the trend. But I mean, it's worked like pretty well like the past couple Saturdays. I mean, we've had a lot of viewers, we've gotten a lot of new subscribers. So yeah, I mean, I guess we're just kind of leaning into it. I mean, I definitely didn't plan on this one being this late, but I figured better to go on late than never. So hope you guys don't mind too much. Yeah, JDab says, hey, you're making it work. Yeah, yeah, appreciate that. And then Hall says, when is the trade deadline again? Is it this week? Okay, so I assume you're talking about the NFL trade deadline. I could look that up here. Yeah, let me look that up because I always forget like when exactly that is. Let's see here. When is the NFL trade deadline? Let's see what Google says. All right. So it looks like NFL trade deadline is Tuesday, November 4th at 4 p.m. Eastern time. Okay, so yeah, November 4th. I mean, gosh, that's really not that far away. So, yeah, basically just like like 9 days away at this point. So yeah, that's pretty crazy. I didn't even realize it was quite that soon. So it'll be interesting to see if there are any players moved at the deadline. I mean, in terms of like some players that come to mind, like oh gosh. I mean, I don't know. Maybe God, could Travis Etienne be moved? I mean, I don't know. Maybe not because they did move Tank Bigsby to the Eagles like before the season. So I don't know if that's a possibility. It seems like there are some teams like in the market for a running back, like possibly I don't know, maybe like the Bears, the Chiefs. Although I mean, Swift has been playing well, and then like I mean, Monangai like put up a nice stat line last week, so maybe the Bears aren't quite as much in need as they thought they were like early in the season. I mean, some people have like speculated about AJ Brown getting moved. I mean, that would be interesting. Um, let's see. Yeah, Nahal. Okay, I guess I already answered this question, but I hadn't even read it yet. But you say, yeah. Do you think anyone gets traded that affects fantasy? Yeah, I mean, I think there were some other teams that also might be looking for running back. I want to say like maybe the Cardinals were mentioned. I feel like there were like four teams that were mentioned in terms of possibly being in the market for a running back before the trade deadline. I forget what all four of them were, but I believe the Chiefs and Bears were a couple of them, and it may have been the Cardinals as a third. But yeah, those are some of the players that come to mind. I'll have to think if there are any others. Let's see. Hey, we got Hash in here. Yo, yo. Hey, good to have you here, Hash. And then you say first 100 subscriber. Hey, that's right. I mean, you're an OG. Yeah. I'll always remember how you were the one that let us know that we had hit 100 subscribers. So yeah, you are an OG for life, my friend. And then J Dab says, feels like the year just started and already halfway through. My God, yeah, isn't that the truth? Yeah, I completely agree with that. I mean, the season is definitely flying by. Yeah, I can't believe it's week 8 already. Gosh, that's crazy. Yeah, it really is going really fast. Nahal says, you see BTJ on the trade block. Hunter stocks going up. Yeah, that's an interesting one. Yeah, would the Jags trade Brian Thomas? Gosh, I don't know. I mean, I assume they like having like two talented receivers. I mean, it's not like they have like three really talented guys. I mean, maybe that would make more sense in that scenario to trade one of them away. But yeah, I guess the problem is like BTJ doesn't seem to be playing very well this season, and then now he's gotten injured. So I mean, the Jags are on their bye this week. I mean, we'll see if he can get healthy during the bye week. Maybe figure out some things and improve his play. Maybe do some self reflection and make some changes and get his play up after the bye week. But I mean, I don't think the Jags would trade him just because he started out the season a bit slow or a bit rough or whatever. So I wouldn't imagine the Jags trading Brian Thomas, and I don't think I've really heard that speculated about at all. But let me know if you have. I haven't heard anything about that, but I'd be surprised if the Jags were looking to move him. So I don't really see that happening too much. But I do agree. Travis Hunter's stock is definitely up. I mean, I was really excited to see that massive breakout game right before the bye. So definitely excited about him and really excited to see what he does after the bye week. I mean, yeah. I mean, hopefully hopefully that game was a sign of things to come because I was going to say like could he get that rookie bye week bump that we sometimes see? But heck, I'd be happy if it just continued from that last game. I mean, getting double digit targets like that moving forward. I mean, that would be amazing. So um, let's see. And then catching up on the chat here, J Dab says, rest of season, who would you prefer, Josh Jacobs or James Cook? That's an interesting one. I mean, James Cook, I mean, he started out the season so hot. He was just absolutely on fire. What was it? 4 20-point games in a row to start the season. So, I mean, he was looking like a league winner. He was a great deal in drafts for redraft, like in round 3. And then Jacobs is like the opposite. I mean, he was basically started slow, like those first like 4 weeks, I believe. And then he's really been heating up like the past few. So I don't know. I mean, that's a tough one. I mean, it's easy to kind of have the recency bias and say, oh, Josh Jacobs. I mean, he feels a little better right now. I think they're both really good. I think you're really excited to have either one of them. So yeah, I don't think there's like a too big of a difference there. I mean, maybe I'd lean Josh Jacobs just because he's been a little hotter lately. And I mean, it just seems like he's got that like workhorse usage. Whereas with James Cook, I mean, I don't know if I've looked at his snaps yet this season, but it does seem like at least like last year and at least prior to this year at the minimum, he's more of like a 50% or so snap player. So yeah, I mean, Jacobs just feels like more that bell cow. Um, yeah, and he's a great goal line back and can kind of do it all. He's on a good offense. I mean, so is James Cook, but yeah, I think I'd slightly say Josh Jacobs, but it's pretty close there. I do think James Cook is a really good buy low right now, coming off a couple of down games, and then didn't he just have his bye week? So it's kind of been a while since we've seen a 20-point game from James Cook, even though it really hasn't been that long. So yeah, if you can get like an impatient manager. That's looking to trade James Cook for someone who's been maybe a little hotter lately or something like that. I definitely think James Cook would be a good trade target. Nahal says, I heard Tony Pollard might. Ooh, that's an interesting one. Yeah, I mean, Pollard has definitely been underwhelming for fantasy so far. That's for sure. I mean, I own him in a couple leagues. I mean, he's just been like miserable to own. I mean, he just feels like low floor, low ceiling. And, I'm not saying it's all his fault. I mean, he's in a pretty rough situation there in the Titans and bad offense, rookie quarterback. But, yeah, I mean, maybe if the Titans are kind of thinking kind of a rebuild mindset, maybe they look to just move him and give Tajay Spears some more opportunities. I think that would be pretty cool. I mean, they don't have a ton of depth behind Tajay Spears, so I don't know if I see that happening, but I wouldn't hate it. I mean, certainly, as someone that owns at least a Spears share in Dynasty, it'd be fun to see him get some more opportunities, although he does have problems staying healthy, so I would worry about that a little bit. And then J-Dab says, would be wild if BTJ were dealt. Yeah, I'd be pretty surprised too. I agree with you there. And then you also say Pats are in that group. And what group exactly? Are you saying like they're in the market to trade for a receiver is probably what you meant? Yeah, I mean that'd be interesting if the Patriots traded for a receiver. I mean, yeah, adding Brian Thomas or AJ Brown or someone like that. I mean that would be pretty fun. It seems like they could use that. Yeah, I mean, they don't have, a lot beyond Stephon Diggs, so I think that would be pretty cool. And my God, Drake May is already playing so well and putting up so many points, had a schedule in his second year here. So, I mean, my God, I mean, Drake May to the moon if he gets like BTJ or AJ Brown or something like that. That'd be pretty sick. And then Hall says the Eagles said they don't want to trade AJ Brown. Yeah, I mean, and that's pretty typical. I mean, a lot of times, I mean, what are NFL teams going to say? Oh yeah, we're really looking to move off of this awesome player. It's just not something they're going to say. So, take that with a grain of salt. I mean, it doesn't mean it's not true. I mean, they may very well mean that and have no intention of trading AJ Brown, but yeah, it's hard to read too much into that. So, yeah, we'll just have to see what their actions are rather than listening to their words. And then Hall says, I don't think BTJ is going to end up being moved, but the fact that they're even shopping him means they like Hunter at wide receiver, probably. Okay, well, I didn't even realize that the Jags are shopping BTJ. So where have you heard that from? Like, is there like a pretty good reputable source on that, or is that being like widely reported? And like, have I just like missed that somehow? Like, let me know where you've heard that from. I'd be really curious because I really haven't heard anything about that. That's surprising to me, but that's pretty interesting. And then Hall, you say, or they might just be obsessed with Parker Washington. Okay, yeah. I mean, gosh, I don't know about that. I mean, they were kind of hyping him up in the offseason, saying he was having like a really good training camp and whatnot. We've seen a couple of flashes of him this season, nothing like too major. But I don't know. I mean, Parker Washington definitely doesn't feel like a replacement for Brian Thomas Jr. I mean, obviously, such a different wide receivers there. I mean, Parker Washington is kind of the classic slot receiver, and that's also what Travis Hunter mostly plays, I believe. So yeah, that'd be kind of a weird fit. Like, I mean, what would they do? Like, if they actually traded Brian Thomas away, would they move Travis Hunter to the outside and then like put Parker Washington in the slot? Like, I don't even know. So yeah, I again, like, it doesn't make a ton of sense to me because I mean, who are their outside receivers going to be if they trade away Brian Thomas? I mean, I guess De'Ami Brown will be one of them, but then who's the other? I mean, I guess the only thing I can think of is like trading or moving Travis Hunter to the outside. So, and I don't know. I mean, is Travis Hunter best in the slot? Like, I'm not sure. I'm assuming that's the case. I'm not like an expert on that, so I'm not sure. And then let's see, catching up on the chat here. Yeah, great to see all the chat in here. And yeah, great to have everyone here. Looks like we got like 6 people watching right now. So good to have everyone here. Definitely drop me a like. And yeah, make sure you're subscribed. Easy way to help the channel. Really appreciate all the support. And yeah, great to see so much engagement in the chat here. Yeah, well, I wasn't sure what I was going to get here going on this late and solo streaming for the first time. So appreciate all you guys joining me here. Let's see. Okay, catch it up on the chat. Let's see. Okay. Nahal says, or let's see. Oh, yeah, I read that. Okay, JDab says, has to be something with the new regime not loving him if they're serious about dealing him. Bet they're just looking to see if someone's willing to give a wild overpay. Okay. Yeah. I mean, hey, it's just like a trade in Dynasty or redraft. I mean, you may not want to trade away that stud, but hey, if someone's willing to pay the right price, anyone could be moved for the right price. So yeah, I can definitely understand that thinking on that. Let's see. And then we got Alex in the chat. Welcome. You say, what do you think the wide receiver one for the Texans this week will be? That is a very interesting question. Yeah, I've been thinking about that a bit because actually in my home redraft league, I've got like every single player on a bye this week. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Like when I opened up my ESPN app on like Tuesday to like set my lineup for the week, it was just like 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 because it's like all my players were on a bye. It was just absolutely nuts. So I am very desperate in that league this week, and I am actually starting both Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel. So I think both of them are pretty, at least like viable desperation streamers, considering there are 8 teams on a bye this week. I also have CJ Stroud in that league. I'm starting him. So I kind of figured I'd just like lean into that and go for the double stack and just hope he has like a monster game. But I really like both Higgins and Knoll a lot as wide receiver prospects. I know Higgins put up the goose egg this past week. That was certainly disappointing. But I don't know. I didn't watch like a ton of that game, so I can't speak to like, how good he looked or whatever. But I still really like him as a prospect, so I wouldn't give up hope. Doesn't feel great starting him after the goose egg, but I mean, things can change a lot week to week. So I wouldn't put it past either of them to have a good game. But we did see more out of Jalen Knoll last week, so I think if you have to start a Texans receiver this week, I think it would probably be Jalen Knoll. And I really loved him as a wide receiver prospect too. I mean, he was one of my favorite sleepers in Dynasty. I mean, especially if you could get like early third round in Dynasty rookie drafts. Like I was grabbing him there everywhere I could. So that's great to see. I'm starting him also in a few Dynasty leagues this week because Christian Kirk is also out, I believe. So yeah, it's kind of wide open there when the Texans wide receiver room. So I mean, in terms of who the wide receiver one is, I mean, I think Jaden Higgins is probably like the most like for like replacement for Nico Collins. I think he'll probably kind of fill in that Nico Collins role because they're very similar type of wide receivers in terms of like big bodied and everything like that. Contested catch guys and all that kind of stuff. And then Jalen Knoll is more of that like shifty, like slot receiver who can take the Christian Kirk role. So, yeah, I mean, wide receiver one, I mean, in terms of targets and catches and fantasy points, I mean, I would bet on Jalen Knoll, but I wouldn't write off Jaden Higgins just because of that goose egg last week. So I think both are pretty interesting this week. And yeah, I think Knoll is a pretty viable streamer this week as well. All right, so let's see, catching up on the chat. Sorry, it's like making me like lose my place at times, so I gotta like find where I left off at. Let's see here. And then, oh yeah. So Nahal says Bills need a wide receiver. Yeah, I mean, they definitely don't have like any stud there. I mean, it's like Khalil Shakir and Keon Coleman, and not exactly a world beater there. So yeah, I mean, that would definitely be fun for Josh Allen to have a true bona fide wide receiver one again, like he did for years with Stephon Diggs. So yeah, that would definitely be a fun landing spot. Well, actually, I don't know. I mean, in theory, it'd be a fun landing spot for a receiver, but I'm thinking of like how Amari Cooper got traded to the Bills last year, and I mean, Amari Cooper just absolutely died as a viable fantasy starter once he went to the Bills. So I don't know if that was a fluke or, I mean, was Amari Cooper just washed or, I mean, they weren't even like playing Amari Cooper a lot. I mean, he was barely like, I mean, what were Amari Cooper's snaps last year when he went to the Bills? Wasn't he only playing like 40-50% of snaps a game? I mean, it was insane. I mean, he was producing better on the Browns like before he was traded there. So I don't know if the Bills just like this like wide receiver by committee thing. And but I have to think, I mean, if they traded for like a true stud wide receiver one in his prime, that player would be playing like 90 to 100% of snaps, and it wouldn't be like a repeat of the Amari Cooper thing. So yeah, that could be a fun landing spot as long as they don't treat him like Amari Cooper. And then JDab says Pat's comment was about the running backs, actually. Wide receiver two, although I think they need linebacker, secondary, edge help more than any of those. Okay. So wait, remind me what that last comment was. Was that about the trade deadline? So you're thinking, are you thinking maybe like the Patriots trade for a running back? Yeah, I mean, gosh, I don't know what to think. I mean, Travion Henderson has been definitely a bust for fantasy so far. I mean, I still think he's a pretty talented player and will get an opportunity to show that at some point. It's crazy how Ramondre has just been dominating the backfield. I mean, of course, he's like nothing special and he has the fumbling issues. So, yeah, I guess that wouldn't be crazy for the Pats to be in the market for a running back. But I think I'd rather just see Travion Henderson get some opportunities. And I mean, I don't even own any Travion Henderson in Dynasty. I probably should be buying him low. So I still think he's a pretty decent buy low if he's gotten dirt cheap enough. Even in redraft, he could be kind of a sneaky buy low. You probably wouldn't even take that much in redraft to get him. Let's see. And then JDabs says Diana Rossini tweeted it today about BTJ. Ooh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think she's a pretty reputable source there. So interesting. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'll have to look into that a little further, but yeah, I definitely hadn't heard that. So that's really interesting. I mean, I wonder why they're trying to trade him. Is it just because he hasn't had a very good season so far? Are the Jags losing faith in him? That's pretty interesting. So yeah, and it really is a mystery, like why Brian Thomas just kind of seems like a ghost of himself compared to last year. I mean, I really don't know what the reason is. I mean, I haven't watched a lot of Jags games really closely this year, so I couldn't really tell you. But from the outside, it does seem like a bit of a mystery. So I don't know if something will come out at some point. I mean, who knows? I mean, it could be a million different reasons. Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, sometimes players just have a sophomore slump. I mean, that term exists for a reason, right? So, and then Nahal says, I saw it on Underdog NFL. Let me see the source. Okay. Yeah. Assuming you're still talking about the BTJ thing about him, about the Jag shopping him. Hey, we got Camex in here. He says, yo, good to have you here. Welcome. And then Nahal says, oh, yeah, it's Diana Rossini. Yeah. Okay. And then we got Josh Ryan in here. Welcome. You say, I have to play one of Shahid, Boutte, and Shamir DK. Whom should I play? Okay, Shahid, Keishan Boutte, and Shamir DK. I mean, for me, that's pretty easily Rashid Shahid. I mean, Boutte, you kind of don't know what you're getting week to week. He doesn't play a ton of snaps either. I'd have to look it up, but he definitely isn't like a guy that's playing like 80+% of the snaps. I think he's usually hovering around like 50, 60% of the snaps or so. It does seem like the Patriots kind of use like a wide receiver by committee. I mean, even like Mac Hollins is getting like 50, 60% of the snaps. They're still using him. So yeah, it kind of makes Boutte tough to trust. If he played more snaps, I'd be more excited about Boutte week to week. And then Shamir DK, yeah, it was great to see the breakout game from him last week. Hopefully that continues, but I mean, he's still kind of a mystery to me. He's still on a bad offense with a bad rookie quarterback. It is a great matchup against the Colts. I'll give you that. So, I mean, if you were desperate and had no other options, like, yeah, I think it's totally fine throwing Shamir DK in your starting lineup and just kind of hoping for the best. But that just feels like a complete crapshoot to know what you're getting from him at this point. Like, I'd like to see like another good game before really feeling good about starting him outside of a desperate situation. But Rashid Shaheed has been pretty darn consistent this year. I think he's only had like one like real spike week so far, but I definitely feel like he's due. This seems like the perfect spot for it at home against the Bucks. Should be a high scoring game. I've got a feeling this is a big week for Shaheed. So I would absolutely start Rashid Shaheed of those three guys there. Yeah. And thanks for the question. And then Hall says, in both my leagues combined, I just have Travis Hunter on a bye. LOL. Hey, well, aren't you lucky? I mean, yeah, a lot of people out there are getting hit pretty hard with this Byemageddon here with eight different teams on a bye. So yeah, you're in a fortunate spot there to Hall. So I hope you're able to get a couple wins because I mean I'm assuming you'll probably have a pretty good advantage over your opponents this week because just about everybody, most people are suffering with players on a bye this week. And then Hall says both redraft leagues, to be frank. And then let's see, Hash says, where's your boy? Yeah, Blake could not make it here tonight. He's got a bunch of school stuff he's dealing with. He's still in college, so I don't know what what exactly he's doing, whether he's like writing papers or studying for some exams, but he pretty much just said he was going to be busy with school stuff this weekend, and that he probably wasn't going to be able to make the live stream. But yeah, he suggested I go solo, so here we are. So yeah, but let's see, catching up here. Let's see. Sorry, I'm just getting used to this like new kind of dashboard here for this live stream, and it keeps like making me lose my spot, which is like super annoying. But Nahal says, I'm just waiting for Breece Hall to be confirmed in this game so I can drop Isaiah Davis for Higgins. Okay, interesting. I mean, gosh, I'm not sure if I would drop Isaiah Davis though. I mean, he definitely seems like a very intriguing handcuff right now. I mean, especially with Braylon Allen out for a large majority of the season, and then now Brees Hall is banged up. I mean, imagine if Brees Hall re-aggravates his injury in this game. I mean, Isaiah Davis would become an absolute workhorse, absolute bell cow if anything were to happen to Brees. So I wouldn't be in a rush to drop Isaiah Davis, but I mean, yeah, Jaden Higgins is intriguing. I mean, I definitely don't blame you for wanting to find a way to pick him up this week, but I don't know. I mean, maybe it depends on what your running back room is. I mean, if you're like crazy deep at running back, maybe you could afford to just take the gamble, drop Isaiah Davis for Jaden Higgins once Brees is confirmed healthy and active for the game. But I mean, if you don't have like a super deep running back room, I don't mind just stashing Isaiah Davis as a really nice handcuff to have, if you're a Brees Hall owner. So I would think about that one. I would look at your team and really think, if Brees Hall got injured, how much would you regret that you just dropped Isaiah Davis? So I would think about that. But hey, sometimes you got to take a gamble. So yeah, don't hate the move, but I don't know. I'd be a little hesitant to do it. That's just my perspective on it. I know it's a whole debate on like whether to own handcuffs for like your own players. Yeah, I mean, we could talk about that if you guys are interested. Let me know. But yeah, I'll just leave it at that for now. Let's see where we left off here. Nahal says, "You see that NBA mafia gambling scandal?" No, I hadn't heard about that. I mean, I don't know. Is that something that just happened today? Like, I pretty much have just been working all day, so I've been kind of like under a rock. But yeah, let me know what happened there. Sounds intriguing. So sounds like a news story for sure there. And then Nahal says, if we could get like a Tajay Spears type workload for Travion Henderson, that would be bless. Yeah, I mean, gosh, I mean, how sad is that though? That even a Tajay Spears type workload for Travion would be welcome at this point. I mean, that's how bad it is for Travion Henderson. That we're just praying he gets like part-time Tajay Spears kind of usage. So, yeah, crazy the position that we find ourselves in with Travion Henderson. I mean, my God. I mean, was there a more hype player in the offseason? I mean, it was pretty much between like Henderson and Ibuka. And yeah, Buka's been a massive hit, and Travion Henderson's been a massive bust. But yet they were both like probably the two most hyped players this offseason. So crazy, yeah, how one has just turned out so well, and the other's just been a complete bust, at least so far. But hey, I mean, that could change at any moment. I do think he's kind of a interesting buy low in probably just about any fantasy format. And then Nahal says they're not getting creative with him at all and not giving him the touches to get better. Yeah, I mean, I haven't really watched like the Patriots too closely this year. I haven't really seen too many of their games, so I can't really comment on that too much. But yeah, interesting to hear your perspective on that. I mean, yeah, they're definitely doing something not right there. I mean, he just seems like too talented of a player to not be going out of their way to get him the ball. I mean, like, why wouldn't you at least get him like 10 touches a game? I mean, it just seems crazy not to be doing that. So definitely disappointing. And then you add, he's a great receiver. Oh yeah, absolutely. So hope we get to see that at some point. I mean, it's really been one of the more surprising things so far this NFL season is just how much of a non-factor Henderson has been and just how little the Patriots have been using him. And then JDab says, last thing about BTJ, last reason I could see at least some truth to the rumors is them restocking some of the draft capital they gave to trade up for Hunter if they could get a first for BTJ. That's really interesting there. Yeah, I didn't even really think about that. Yeah, because obviously the Jags had to move a boatload there to trade up and get Travis Hunter. So I could see how trading Brian Thomas could allow them to recoup some of that draft capital. It'd be interesting to see what like the market would be for Brian Thomas right now, especially since he hasn't been like playing too well. So would anyone offer a first round pick for Brian Thomas? Like, I don't know. I mean, these NFL teams and their GMs really seem to hang on to those draft picks and treat them like they're gold. So, yeah, maybe they get a first for him, but I'm really not sure. It's possible though. Hey, we got Edson in here. You say, "What up, bro? Good to see you here. Good to have you." And you say, "I'm cooked this week. My quarterback room in a super flex Penix, T-Law, and Jaden Daniels. Yikes. That is rough, my friend. That is really rough. So yeah, Jaden Daniels has been ruled out with the injury, and then T-Law's on a bye this week. And Penix is also banged up, and last I heard, he is trending toward being out this game, and it looks like Kirk Cousins is probably going to be starting for the Falcons. So, my God, that is really rough. So, yeah, let me know what you're doing for quarterback this week. I'm assuming you picked someone up there. So, yeah, let me know what quarterback you're streaming this week. And then you say Penix. Oh yeah, pretty much what I was just saying here. Penix, JD out, and T-Law on a bye. I'm 4-3, so I'm already banking 4-4. Every team with even a Joe Flacco asking for an arm and a leg. Oh man, isn't that the truth right now? I mean, yeah, I definitely been seeing that in dynasty leagues a bit. I mean, I actually just like recently traded for Joe Flacco in a dynasty league. I was able to get him like thrown into a larger deal. I'm not sure what he would have cost if I was just trading for him on his own. Probably would have been more than I'd want to pay for him. So it worked out nicely, just being able to get him thrown into a deal. But even since I traded for him, I've already had a manager like hit me up and say like, hey, like, can I get Joe Flacco off of you? And I didn't even like quote him a price. I basically just said like, nah, like I'm going to need him. So, cause yeah. In this particular dynasty league, I have Jared Goff on a bye. So, yeah, I don't really want to be starting some like crappy bench running back or receiver in my super flex spot. So it feels pretty good having Joe Flacco this week for sure. So yeah, but yeah, definitely don't blame me for not wanting to overpay for Flacco. And then J-Dab says Andy Dalton. Feels crazy to say, LOL. Yeah, I mean, I think Andy Dalton's a pretty solid streamer this week. Even in redraft. I mean, depending on how shallow your league is, there might be some better options than Andy Dalton. I mean, we could kind of talk about that. I don't know. I mean, maybe if you guys want me to like rank some of my favorite streamers at quarterback this week, that's something I could certainly do. But yeah, I mean, Andy Dalton, I mean, it's not a great matchup on paper. The Bills aren't allowing too many fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks this year. I think one of the fewest, in fact, like fifth fewest. But, I don't mind it. I mean, I feel like in the past, when Andy Dalton has like come in to fill in for an injured quarterback, at least one time in the recent past that I remember, he had like the first game he came in, he had like a massive week, like 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, something like that. And then, but like, almost like no one started him. And then like the next week, everyone then started him. And then he just like, he turned back into a pumpkin. He was terrible. So I don't know. I mean, maybe there's something to that. Like maybe when Andy Dalton comes in, maybe kind of gives him a spark and, maybe he's good at first and then, before he kind of comes back down to reality. So I don't know if there's anything to that. That's just something that I remember from kind of the recent past. So yeah, I definitely don't mind starting him this week. I mean, could that be a shootout between the Panthers and Bills? I at least think it has shootout potential. So yeah, I definitely don't mind throwing Andy Dalton into your starting lineup if you're a little desperate this week. I'm pretty sure I'm starting him in like 2 dynasty leagues. So I'm with you there. I'm starting him myself. So I'm hoping for a decent game out of him. And then, yeah, Edson says, even Andy is a no-go for trade, asking for too much. I sent a 4th, got denied. Oh, man, that's rough. I mean, I'm assuming that Andy Dalton owner probably has Dalton in his starting lineup and needs him this week. So that's probably why he just rejected it. But I mean, normally, I mean, if, it's really probably because of the Byemageddon. I mean, because if that manager had 2 better quarterbacks that he was starting this week and had Andy Dalton on his bench, I mean, he should probably be like smash accepting, getting a 4th, getting anything for Andy Dalton, right? So yeah, my guess is that manager probably needs to start Dalton this week. That's probably why he just rejected it, I'm assuming. And then J-Dab says, damn, that's tough. I picked him up off waivers to block my matchup, who has Bryce, and I'd happily flip for any pick. Hey, that's pretty awesome. I mean, you got to play some defense in fantasy sometimes. So, Yeah, that is not beneath me. I'll do the same thing. Like I'll pick someone up just to block my opponent. So hey, you got to do what you got to do sometimes. I mean, that's part of the game. Uh, so yeah, I mean, you know, I mean, for the most part in fantasy football, we can really only play offense, and it's tough to actually play defense. But that's like the one way you can actually kind of play defense in fantasy. So definitely a good move doing that when you can. And then JDab says, outside of Lamar week 1 in May and a weird first half game, Bills quarterback schedule been super soft. Think that plays into the Bills D versus quarterbacks context. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I mean that could certainly have a lot to do with it. I mean sometimes those like matchup stats in terms of like how good they are against like opposing quarterbacks, or how tough the matchup is for opposing quarterbacks, it can definitely be deceiving. Um, I mean, one thing that comes to mind is I feel like it can be really deceiving for like tight ends, especially. Like when you look at like tight end matchups for like the tight end you're considering starting. The reason it can be like especially deceiving for tight ends is because I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess tight end feels a little deeper this year, but generally speaking, like most years, there are usually only like a handful of like really good receiving tight ends that matter. And so usually when you look at a matchup and see like, oh, okay, this NFL team is allowing like tons of fantasy points to opposing tight ends this year. If you go and look up the schedule of that NFL team, you'll usually see like, oh, well, they played against, Trey McBride and Brock Bowers and Sam Laporta and Tyler Warren and, like all like the better tight ends in the NFL. So it's like, okay, well, that explains why they've been so bad against tight ends this year. And then if you look up and like, okay, this team is allowed, very few fantasy points against tight ends this year. You look up their schedule and it's like, oh, they played against Chigo Okonkwo and, I've been trying to think of like, yeah, who are some of like the worst tight ends in the, worst starting tight ends in the NFL, I don't know, Brenton Strange or, just like, whatever, or, they played some team when like the starting tight end was injured and, so yeah, I definitely take matchups with a grain of salt. I mean, honestly, more and more over the years, I just ignore the matchup and just start my best guys. I mean, that's generally like the best and easiest thing you can do. But yeah, getting back to the chat here, let's see. Okay, JDab says weeks 2 to 4 were Jets, Miami, New Orleans. Okay, so that's the schedule for the Bills. Okay, so yeah, I mean, yeah, that's pretty rough as far as quarterbacks go. I mean, yeah, Justin Fields, Tua, and Spencer Rattler. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So, honestly, like I hadn't even like noticed that. I didn't even really think too much to look. Um, yeah, I mean, I was starting Andy Dalton in a couple leagues, like regardless of whether the matchup was good or bad. But seeing that does give me some additional confidence that there's a reason that they've been so tough on quarterbacks this year. They really haven't like faced, they've had a pretty I mean, the schedule's been filled with pretty some pretty weak quarterbacks, especially in that stretch there from weeks 2 to 4, as you point out. So yeah, definitely good observation there. So yeah, appreciate you sharing that there. But yeah, we still don't have too many people watching right now. So I don't know if I'll go like too much longer here. We'll see if any more people roll in. Yeah, I'm sure like some people are starting to go to bed, but I'm definitely open to streaming a bit longer. Yeah, JDabs, I don't know if it's you that's the only one left here in the chat, but yeah, if you have any other questions, like feel free to share. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, we were just talking about like QB streamers. I mean, in terms of like other decent ones this week, I mean, we thought like Tyrod Taylor was going to be one, but all of a sudden he's been ruled out with an injury. So I guess the Jets are going back to Justin Fields now. I mean, I do think Justin Fields is still a decent start this week. Even though he was possibly going to get benched if Tyrod hadn't gotten injured all of a sudden here. I mean, Justin Fields' real life play is a little questionable, but I mean he can put up a lot of fantasy points with the rushing and everything like that. So I mean he's a bit feast or famine, but I definitely think especially for leagues where passing touchdowns are only 4 points, I definitely think Justin Fields is viable starting quarterback this week. Then Edson says, I know it's not good practice to just take L's, especially I'm trying to win it all. But this week isn't that bad to take the L since I also have Gibbs, Amon Ra, and Sam Laporte on a bye. Yeah, I mean, of course, yeah, you never want to lose a matchup, but I mean, sometimes it's just inevitable. I mean, you run into a buzzsaw or like, half your starters are on a bye week. And so, yeah, sometimes you just got to kind of take the L. Um, I mean, one thing you can kind of do in that situation, I mean, not that you want to like punt the week. I mean, you still want to start like the best starting lineup you can and everything, of course, because you never know, like weird things can happen. You might end up being surprised and like win a matchup that you feel like you had no business winning. But something that you can do a little bit if you feel like, okay, I'm probably going to lose this week, you can start looking ahead a little bit. I mean, this is something I like to do anyways, regardless of whether I'm a big underdog in the matchup or not. When possible, like when I have the time to, I always like to click ahead, whether you're on Sleeper or, ESPN, click ahead to the next week and look at your team and look at, what matchups, what teams your players are facing, which players are on a bye week. And it can really give you good insight into anticipating some of the issues that you're going to have next week. And that might inspire you to make an ad on waivers in advance. You might see like, oh, I got 3 receivers on a bye next week, so I'm going to add this receiver now, so I don't have to fight for him on waivers next week when I'm really going to badly need a receiver. So that's something that I like to do. So something to keep in mind, especially if you're like a big underdog. Like, heck, might as well look ahead a little bit and at least try to put yourself in good position to win next week if you're probably not going to win this week. So that's what I would suggest. Let's see here. And then catching up. JDab says, got one more before I'm going to call it a night myself. Last flex spot with the crazy buys. Full PPR plus a 0.5 tight end premium. Ertz, JCM, or Josh Downs. Okay. So I'm assuming this is a start sit question here. I'm assuming you can only start one of these 3 players. All right. So Zach Ertz, JCM, Josh Downs. Okay, so yeah, Ertz and JCM are playing in the Monday night game against the Chiefs, and then Josh Downs against the Titans. Yeah, I would go. I'm not sure exactly how the Chiefs are against tight ends, but I think regardless, I'd go Josh Downs there. I mean, JCM is kind of a tough one to know whether to start this week or not. I mean, it definitely doesn't look like a good matchup on paper, but again, like I try not to worry like too much about matchups and just kind of start my best players. So I don't know in terms of like points per game, who's been better this year, JCM or Josh Downs, or I guess even Ertz. I mean, I could look that up really quick, just kind of for context. But I mean, those guys are probably pretty close. But with JCM, I could see it being the kind of thing where, oh, he's kind of cooled off lately and it's a bad matchup. So like everyone benches him. And then like out of nowhere, he like goes off, in a bad match against the Chiefs on Monday night with everyone watching. And, everyone's like, what the hell? Like, oh, of course he does good now. Cause, cause like no one, not many people are starting him this week. So, we see that kind of thing happen all the time. So I don't mind starting JCM just kind of as a contrarian play, so to speak. But I mean, objectively looking at this, I mean, I feel like Josh Downs probably has the highest floor. I mean, you said it's a full PPR league. I mean, Josh Downs, I mean, he at least like shouldn't kill you this week. It is a good matchup against the Titans. Also, I was even looking at like Josh Downs' history against the Titans. That's actually something I like to do. I don't know if that's good process or not, but I feel like history repeats itself a lot. So I like to look back on, especially for like divisional games. So this is Titans Colts. I like to look back on like what's the history of this player against this team, especially when they've played a lot, if they're in the same division. And so Josh Downs, I believe, has played against the Titans 5 times before because he's in his 3rd NFL season. Wait, I think that's right. But in any case, but yeah, last year, actually, I don't know. Maybe I'll pull it up because I might be misremembering it. But actually, what I do remember offhand is that basically in Josh Downs' first 2 NFL seasons, it seemed like he had good fantasy weeks against the Texans like every single time. Like it was basically like 4 for 4. And then he faced the Titans earlier this year, and I don't think he did too much. I'll double check on that. But overall, he has a really good history against the Titans. So for what that's worth, again, like I'm not sure if that's good process or not, but that is something that I look at on occasion because I do really feel like history repeats itself in general and in football. So um, yeah, I kind of like that a player has a good history against a team. So we've seen Josh Down be good plenty of times against the Titans. So I don't mind using that kind of just as a small factor at least, but it is a good matchup. It does seem like Josh Downs has been kind of slowly trending up, at least before the injury. So yeah, I think I'd go Josh Downs there. Um, but yeah, I could see how you were debating that one because I'd say it's pretty close between the three of them. So, I mean, if you have a gut feeling, if your intuition is telling you to go a certain way, I would say listen to that. Um, but yeah, if you're not sure and you just kind of need like a high floor, I think Josh Downs is a pretty safe bet this week. And then JDab says, at least it'll make the Sunday much less stressful if you're planning on an L anyway. LOL. Yeah, that's true. I mean, a lot of things in life are just about expectations. So if you're not expecting much, or if you just have no expectations for how something's going to turn out, you'll often be a lot happier, or at least not as miserable if things go wrong. So yeah, that's 100% true. Then Edson says, "What's more strats? What's more strategies you implement to win matchups, bro?" Okay, hey, you want to pick my brain a little bit here? Gosh, I mean, I don't know. That's such a general question. I mean, are you talking? I guess you could be talking like redraft or dynasty here. Let me know if you're specifically asking about one or the other. But yeah, I mean, obviously, dynasty is a lot more in depth, and I could go into a lot more things with like dynasty strategy certainly. But just in terms of like your actual matchup against your opponent, whether it's in dynasty or redraft, I mean, yeah, looking ahead is definitely something I like to do. Another thing I like to do is I like to at least be aware of if there are like any conflicts between the players that I'm starting and the players like my opponent is starting. So, for instance, like Blake and I co-manage a team. It happens to be Dynasty, and we have Xavier Worthy in our lineup right now, which doesn't feel great. I mean, he's been brutal lately. Um, so I'm kind of trying to talk Blake into maybe starting somebody else. Um, and I was looking at our matchup, and our opponent is starting Patrick Mahomes this week. So that kind of that stood out to me because especially with it being on the Monday night game, because this is where my mind goes. If we get to the Monday night game and the only player we have left is Worthy, and the only player that our opponent has left is Mahomes, if we're down in the matchup, we're going to have like basically 0% chance of winning that matchup because it's going to be almost impossible for Worthy to outscore Mahomes outside of an injury to Mahomes, which doesn't seem particularly likely and certainly not something I want to count on. So I would hate to be going into the Monday night game with like basically no chance to win. So I wasn't crazy about starting Worthy anyways, but that only leans me further in that direction. So you know, I mean, if Worthy's my best player, like I'm not going to bench him just because my opponent has Mahomes. But it's at least a tiebreaker where if I have someone else that I think is really just about as good as Worthy, and I could really kind of go either way with it. If I see that my opponent has like the quarterback attached to that receiver, I'm probably going to use that as a tiebreaker, bench Worthy, and start Tyler Algier or Noah Fant, or we also have like Chamir DK and Van Jefferson, and we also have Kyle Monangai on the bench. Actually, well, technically on taxi, we'd have to elevate him, and I don't know if we want to drop anyone. But those are some of the players we were debating between. So, yeah, if anyone in chat has any thoughts on that, yeah, let me know which of those players you would start this week. And also, do you think Kyle Monangai is worth elevating from your taxi to start over like Xavier Worthy or Noah Fan or someone like that? And hey, we got 6 people in here watching, so good to have everyone here. Yeah, and first time going solo here, so appreciate having you guys in here. And yeah, if you want to support the channel, if you want to see more of these live streams, definitely make sure you're subscribed. That's like the best thing you can do, easiest way to support us. And if you're already subscribed, definitely drop us a like. Really helps out a lot. So really appreciate all your support. And yeah, let's catch up on the live chat here. Um, let's see. Yeah, this thing is always making me like lose my spot, I feel like. So apologies for that. Still kind of getting used to this new interface here. Usually Blake handles all this stuff. So let's see where we left off. Let's see. Oh yeah, JDab says couldn't agree more with not overthinking matchups as a general rule. Yeah, I mean that's just what I've learned because like too many times like oh this player is an amazing matchup, I'm going to start him and he does nothing, and then oh this player has a awful brutal matchup this week, so I'm going to bench him, and then he does like amazing. So it's just like okay, I'm not saying matchups don't matter, but it definitely feels like just as a fantasy community we're bad at telling like when the matchup is going to matter and like when it's not. So, I mean, I definitely think the matchup is like a good tiebreaker. I'm not going to say it's like completely irrelevant and meaningless, but for the most part, I've just learned over the years that you're just kind of better off ignoring it or just factoring it in, a pretty small amount, like almost like a tiebreaker. But for the most part, I just like to start my best players and just let the chips fall where they may. And honestly, I feel like you're probably going to be happier doing that because if you start your best players, like the players that have been scoring you the most points per game this year, and you lose your matchup, like how mad are you really going to be? I mean, like you're going to feel pretty good. Like, well, I started my best players, so like how mad can you even really be about that? But I mean, one possible exception is I really am a strong believer in intuition. So, you know, I just think intuition is a very real thing. And I mean, basically all intuition is that you know something, but you don't know exactly why you know it. But like you probably have seen something in your past similar and it turned out a certain way. And that's just giving you a feeling that maybe it happens again. It's kind of like that concept of like how history repeats itself. So I am a strong believer in that. If you have like a strong gut feeling about something, go for it. I fully support that. But short of having like a very strong gut feeling, just start your best players. Just ignore the matchups. Hey, we got KO Kingdom in here. You say, yo, just missing all recent streams. Bears, Ravens, who you got? You better say Bears because no Lamar. Okay, yeah, I will absolutely say Bears are going to win this game. Yeah, disappointing that Lamar Jackson couldn't suit up this weekend. Yeah, that definitely disappointing for the fantasy team where I got him on. I'm sure a lot of Lamar owners out there are disappointed. So yeah, we're actually going to see Tyler Huntley this week. I mean, he might be like I mean, if you're really in a deep league and really, really desperate this week, Tyler Huntley could be kind of a sneaky desperation start at quarterback. I mean, certainly for like super flex leagues, I definitely don't mind throwing Tyler Huntley into your super flex spot. I mean, it gives you some rushing. I mean, he's kind of hit or miss when he starts. I mean, he'll sometimes have like a shockingly good week, and other times he'll just be brutal and like give you nothing. So it's a crapshoot. But if you're a little desperate or in a deep league or playing a super flex league, I do think Tyler Huntley could be kind of sneaky. But yeah, I definitely think the Bears will win. I mean, they better win, with the Ravens not having Lamar. So yeah, definitely say the Bears will win there. And then Edson says Monangai or Isaiah Davis this week. That's interesting. I mean, yeah, Brees is a little banged up right now. And I mean, we were just talking about, not putting too much into matchups, but for what it's worth, the Bengals do give up the most fantasy points per game to the running back position. So it does feel like Isaiah Davis could be a factor this week if Brees is less than 100%, or of course if Brees is inactive. I mean, obviously like Isaiah Davis would be an absolute must start. So yeah, if Brees is inactive, I mean it's definitely Isaiah Davis. If Brees is active, it would definitely be I'd probably just roll the dice on Monangai. I mean we saw the breakout game from him. I mean he got a lot of touches in that game. I forget exactly how many it was offhand. I mean, didn't he get like 16 touches or something like that? I'd have to double check on that. I don't want to like be looking down at my phone too much here because, I'm trying to keep up on the live chat, and you guys probably wouldn't be, too excited about me just like staring down at the phone, looking things up. So, it's times like this. I wish I had Blake here. But yeah, if someone wants to look that up for me, let me know what exactly Monangai's stat line was last week. But I mean, it was pretty good. So I definitely think it was encouraging. And yeah, I mean, if Brees is active, I would go Monangai over Isaiah Davis, but definitely keep track of the injury report. And yeah, if Brees Hall's out, like you definitely have to fire up Isaiah Davis this week. No question about that. And then KO Kingdom says Monangai rushing for 200 yards this week and 3 tutties. Hey, I mean that would be pretty exciting. Like, yeah. I mean, I assume you're at least like half joking here, but hey, that would be pretty amazing. I mean, I guess I think I just have like one share of him in Dynasty, so wish I had a little more right about now. It definitely seems to be trending up. But hey, we'll see if your bold prediction is right there, KO Kingdom. Can't wait to see what he does. And then JDab says, appreciate the insight and conversation, man. Good solo stream. Best of luck with the game tomorrow. Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate the nice words and appreciate your questions here in the live chat. So yeah, good luck with your teams tomorrow. And yeah, see you around. All right. And then let's see, catching up here. Edson says, how about this dynasty? Do you care slot player age and average age of your squad? Okay, maybe you can clarify that a little bit of that for me. Slot player age. I don't know if that's a typo. But in any case, I mean, basically it sounds like you're asking about, how much do I care about age and dynasty and kind of like the overall age of my squad, or like the average age of the players on my dynasty team, or maybe at least the starters. I mean, it's definitely a pretty huge factor. I mean, obviously it's one of the big things that differentiates dynasty from redraft. So I mean, it's certainly important, but it can become overrated. I mean, there's this term that they use on like DD fantasy. They call it artificial dynasty value, or ADV. And a lot of that has to do with youth. Basically, it's like kind of this like artificial value that we give to young players, like even if they're not producing or not producing like all that great, right? So like an example of that would be like CJ Stroud last year, or like let's say CJ Stroud last offseason, because he was coming off, really great rookie season. Everyone's excited about him. I mean, he was going as like a top 5 dynasty pick. I mean, was he not? I mean, it sounds crazy to say now, but I mean, he was like a top 5 player in like startup drafts. I mean, it was insane. And a lot of that was just artificial dynasty value. I mean, he wasn't an elite producer yet. He just had a really great rookie season, and everyone just assumed like, oh, he's going to be even better his second season. He's going to take like a big leap forward from an already great rookie season. And he's, however old he was a year ago, 23 years old or whatever. And he's got, you could have 15 years ahead of him of just being an awesome quarterback in fantasy. And, what happens? He takes a step back his second season. His offensive line was terrible. I mean, he wasn't even like startable. I mean, he was just absolutely brutal last season. And yeah, his dynasty value is just absolutely went in the tank. So that's kind of the danger of caring too much about age. Anyone a year ago that was drafting, wisely drafting Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson and any of those other guys, even like, Jalen Hurts or, some of the elite receivers. I mean, if you were drafting any of those guys over CJ Stroud, you're really glad you didn't draft CJ Stroud right about now, or just, for like the past season and a half, basically. So, I try not to care about it too much. I mean, my answer to that could be like really long. I mean, I could go into a lot of things. But it's definitely something I'm mindful of. I mean, I don't want like my team to just like age out. I don't want to like have a team that's all like Travis Kelce and Devontae Adams and Calvin Ridley. And I don't want to go into like next off season being like, oh man, like, am I going to have like any players I can start, this upcoming season? So, you want to make sure you're not getting like too old. You're trying to create a dynasty, right? I mean, you want a team that could be good for like many years to come, hopefully. So, if your team is starting to get old, you might want to look to do some tear downs, some crafty tear downs to get younger. I mean, there are definitely a lot of different things you can do, but yeah, I definitely don't want my team to get too old, but you know, I want to have like a nice mix. I mean, I want to make sure I have some really productive veterans, but I also want to have some young players with upside. Have some players that are kind of in between. Kind of in the in the primes of their careers, and not too old yet. So I don't know. I mean, there are a lot of different ways I could answer that, and it's kind of I'm doing my best to like answer that in kind of like a general way. I mean, if you want, maybe sometime in a future stream, like I could pull up one of my dynasty teams and maybe kind of give you an example. Maybe it'd probably be easier to talk about like with an example in front of me where I could like screen share and show you a team and kind of show you how I manage it with regard to age. But definitely a great question though. And then hey, we got Yee Yeet in the chat. Welcome. Good to see you. And you say sit two, Pollard / Pat Fryermuth, and you put in parentheses, Packers rank 31 against tight ends / Calvin Austin. Okay. So you have to sit two of Tony Pollard, Fryermuth, Calvin Austin. Okay. So yeah, among those three players, yeah. So basically, yeah, you can only start one of the three. I mean, man, Pollard's been brutal. Pat Fryermuth is coming off the big game, and it's a great matchup. Funny enough, I just mentioned in my home redraft league, I got like basically like most of my starters on a bye this week. I actually have Pat Fryermuth in one of my flex spots. It's like a start, I think start three flex spot league. So it's a pretty deep, starting lineup. So you kind of have to go deep anyways, and then even more so now with all the teams on a bye. So yeah, I mean, I currently, believe it or not, have Pat Fryermuth starting in my home league. It's not even a tight end premium. Definitely don't feel great about it. I mean, last week for Fryermuth, his big game certainly could have been a fluke. I mean, the Steelers are using like all three of their tight ends, including Jonnu Smith and Darnell Washington. So, who knows? But I mean, Packers have been very generous to opposing tight ends. So I don't mind Fryermuth as like a real desperation start, but certainly not going on my way to start him. And then you also have Calvin Austin. I've always liked Calvin Austin. Just think he's like a pretty good football player. I love his explosiveness, and he's definitely a fun player to watch. But I mean, yeah, what can you expect from Calvin Austin? I mean, he's never a guy you feel like amazing about starting. And then with the Steelers, yeah, they are using all these tight ends. Of course, you got DK Metcalf as like the main wide receiver one. I mean, the Steelers have been like a decent offense though. Gosh, yeah. I mean, I don't feel great about starting any of those guys. Which one would I start? I mean, gun to my head here. God, I mean, none of them feel very good. I mean, I guess the highest floor would probably be Pollard. I mean, Pollard actually caught like, actually had like 6 targets last week. I believe he caught like all 6 of them. So, yeah, I mean, Pollard probably gives you like a decent floor. I mean, I was surprised he took that much passing game work from Tajay Spears last week. So, not sure if that's a fluke, but I mean, Pollard is still getting like a pretty decent workload. Could that be a high scoring game between the Colts, Titans? So, I'm going to reluctantly say Pollard. Definitely don't feel great about it, but I mean, yeah, Fryermuth is just a complete crapshoot. He'll either, get you 0 or, maybe gives you like half of what he did last week if you're really lucky. And then I mean, Calvin Austin could always give you a big play, so I don't mind that. So I'd say if you have a gut feeling about one of those three, just go for it. I mean, there's really no right or wrong answer there. I mean, those are all just kind of like desperation plays. So I would say go with your gut feeling if you're feeling one or the other over the other two. But I would probably say to bench the 2 Steelers and start Pollard. And then Edson says, speaking about elevating people from Taxi Bro, I always regret doing that. I'd keep Lil Dude on Taxi till he takes over. The volatility ain't worth it. Yeah, that can be the frustrating thing. Like if that rookie on your Taxi squad has that like one big week and then you get all excited, like, ooh, I'm going to elevate this guy. I'm going to start him next week. And then you do that. And then he just like does like absolutely nothing. And it's just like, why did I just like, permanently lose that roster spot for this guy that like I can't even like start now because apparently his one good game was just a fluke. So yeah, I usually like to see it for like I usually wait for the player to have like 2 good weeks, maybe even like 2 good weeks in a row before I elevate him from Taxi. But if you're really desperate and you have a lot of players on a bye, you could certainly make an exception to that. But yeah, I usually err on the side of like, if I'm debating between two players for my starting lineup, and one I would need to elevate from taxi and the other I wouldn't. If it's pretty close, I'm usually just going to go with the player I would need to elevate, because I just love to save that, have that extra roster spot. You know, it can really come in handy in Dynasty. All right, let's catch up on more of the chat here. All right. Edson says it was a typo. I think at quarterbacks, faux show, overrated, since those guys plays for so long. I regret shipping out Stafford right about now. I prioritized T-Law and Penix, thinking these guys were the future. LOL. Yeah, I mean, that's crazy. I mean, I don't necessarily think that was like horrible process or anything. I mean, it definitely didn't seem like Stafford had too much time left. I mean, he's really getting pretty old, and he had a pretty lousy year last year, at least for fantasy. I mean, mostly because the Rams just loved to run the ball when they got in close, and like Kyron Williams was just like vulturing all the touchdowns. And now, like all of a sudden, like Stafford's awesome again. So I mean, definitely a great real life quarterback. I watched him for many years on the Lions, absolutely loved him. And but yeah, I mean, T-Law, there was some optimism about because of getting Liam Cohen. Everyone kind of thought, like, could he be like this year's Baker Mayfield and like take that big step forward? And yeah, so I can't totally blame you for that one. And then Penix, I mean, yeah, I had good optimism about Penix this year. I was expecting good things from him. He's definitely been disappointing. Now he's injured. So, it's not always going to work out that way. I wouldn't just like take the lesson away that, youth doesn't matter. And I mean, it does, because I mean, if T-Law or Penix were having good seasons, I mean, they would be worth a fortune in Dynasty right now. And, you could sell them for Stafford plus a lot on top, even with Stafford having a good season. So, it wasn't necessarily a bad process on your part, betting on T-Law and Penix. Those particular bets just didn't work out. That's all. So, and why they didn't work out, I mean, you could look into that deeper and think about why that is. I mean, T-Law has been so up and down. I had one share of T-Law in Dynasty this offseason, and I ended up trading him for like a first in the rookie draft this past offseason, plus like Daniel Jones on top. So that ended up being like a really crafty tear down. And I took Mason Taylor with that first round pick, which sounds crazy, but it's a very wacky league where the tight end premium is 5.0. So basically, tight ends get 6 PPR, 6 points every time they catch a pass. So basically, the tight ends basically score a touchdown like every time they catch a pass effectively. So yeah, I was drafting the tight ends early and often in that league. I pretty much got like just about all the good ones. So I am absolutely dominating that league this year. But yeah, Mason Taylor's been a hit so far, especially for that format. And I got Daniel Jones on top, and Daniel Jones has been a hit. He's kind of become like the next Baker, really. So, yeah, I mean, that's the kind of like sneaky, tear down trade that I like to do. So maybe that's something you could consider in the future. But yeah, I can't totally blame you though for betting on T-Law and Penix though. And then Edson, you say, I think the money spot is young Hall of Fame caliber guys. That's Dynasty. Yeah, but I mean, sometimes, of course, those young Hall of Fame caliber quarterbacks, they cost a fortune in Dynasty. Try buying, even the ones that are in like their, late 20s or, early 30s. Like, I think like Josh Allen's like 29. I can't remember exactly how old Lamar Jackson is, but he's still pretty young. Those guys cost a fortune. So you either have to like pony up for those guys and pay like 3+ firsts, or you try to find the next one. And, maybe you buy low on like a T-Law or Penix. So again, like it's not necessarily a bad process. I was going to say like, okay, what if you bought like Drake May this offseason? He was still probably pretty expensive because he kind of had that artificial dynasty value like CJ Stroud had. but he just happens to be having an awesome second year, unlike Stroud, who had like the super disappointing second year. And now it's like, Drake made to the moon. I mean, he's like producing at an elite level, at least in 6-point passing touchdown leagues. And yeah, I mean, good luck trying to trade for him right now. So, um, yeah, I mean, you still got to be willing to bet on those young players sometimes, and it's always good when you can buy low and bet on a player before they break out and get super expensive in dynasty. So, I mean, you got to play the market, and sometimes that involves taking some calculated gambles. Making some bets. All right, and then you say Edson. I ended up pulling a trade, T. Law and Rice for Addison and a 27 first and a 28 first. Team I traded Rice to is historically like the Jets with us. We've been playing for 10 years. Okay. So what do you mean like the Jets? You're just saying like they're a bad dynasty team, or let me know what you mean there exactly. But yeah, let me look at this trade a little closer. Okay, so you traded. Wait, which side did you get? Let me know if you got the side of T-Law Rice or Addison in the 2 first. But yeah, not knowing that, just kind of looking at this objectively, which side would I rather have? I mean, I'm assuming this is a super flex league, as most dynasty leagues are. I'm assuming it's like 12 teams, full PPR. I'm going to assume like 6 points for a passing touchdown. Okay, so T-Law and Rice versus Addison and 2 first and 27 and 28. Well, let's see what we can cross off here. I mean, T-Law and Addison, they're probably about like similar value in dynasty. I'm assuming. I don't know exactly what T-Law's dynasty value is. I mean, it couldn't be that great. So I'm assuming it's probably like not much more than like a Jordan Addison right now, even though that might seem pretty low for a young quarterback in Superflex. So maybe I'm off about that, but I mean, I wouldn't be crazy about trading for T-Law in a dynasty league right now. So let's call him worth approximately about Addison. So we'll cross out those two. So then it's basically Rice for 2 first and 27 and 28. Yeah, that's probably about fair. I mean, I think I'd probably slightly favor the Rice side. I mean, I think if you're buying Rice for that, that's a pretty decent deal. I mean, if the first were in 26 and 27, I'd feel better about that because, then you're not having to wait like 2 and 3 years for them. So yeah, with the first being in 27 and 28, I feel like I'd want to get like something on top of that. Maybe like an underperforming rookie. Like, could I get Bashal Tutin thrown on top of those, 27 and 28 firsts? Something like that I think would make it a little more even. Or, even like a Jaden Higgins type or maybe just like a second if there aren't any players on the guy's roster that you wanted thrown into the deal. But like, honestly, if I owned Rice and I was, if I owned him on a rebuilder, actually I own 1 share of Rashee Rice in Dynasty and it's on a rebuilding team. And I've been looking to move him just to get the points off my roster, increase my chances of getting the 101. So I sent out a trade offer. What was I trying to get again? I was basically trying to get a 26 first, a 27 first, and Sam Darnold. That's what I was trying to get. So yeah, I mean, I think you should probably be getting something close to that. I mean, maybe I was getting like slightly greedy on that one. I probably would have been willing to kick something back. Like I also have like Calvin Ridley on that rebuilder. So like, if I could have thrown like Calvin Ridley into that to get that deal over the finish line, like I absolutely would have done that. I probably would have been willing to like throw in maybe a late pick as well. Like if I needed to like kick in a third, I would have been willing to do that. But that's really what I'm trying to get is basically first and 26, first and 27, and a very interesting throw-in, especially like a young rookie who's maybe underperforming but has some big upside and that I still believe in. But yeah, let me catch up on your other comments here. You say, I don't ever remember him making the playoffs, LOL. Okay, so that's what you meant by saying that he's like the Jets. Fair enough. Yeah, so maybe he's not the best dynasty manager. So yeah, I mean, it might be someone you could take advantage of in a trade. So yeah, let me know which side of that deal you got. And then you say, I had a chance to tear down to Daniel Jones, got beat out because I was busy at work and couldn't send the trade through before he accepted another. Oh man, I can so relate to that. I mean, I'm constantly sending out dynasty trades. And yeah, that's happened to me so many times where I was about to send some offer, and then you see the sleeper notification pop up, a trade has been completed, and you just get that like feeling of dread of like, oh no, like you just know it's going to be a trade involving the player that you were trying to get. And yeah, sure enough, it often is. And oh man, that's just like the worst feeling in the world. So I can commiserate. And then you say, bro was aggressive and I missed the chance. Yeah. I mean, yeah, being aggressive with trades and dynasty can definitely be rewarded. I mean, it's definitely the proactive managers that are out sending offers and DMs and wheeling and dealing that typically get more trades done, and that can be a real advantage because I mean, typically the managers that trade more tend to have better teams. I mean, unless you just like absolutely don't know what you're doing and just like to trade for the sake of fun, and you're like losing deals, of course. But most managers that trade a lot know what they're doing, and you know, by trading, I mean it just opens up a lot of opportunities to play the market, and I mean without trading, I mean it's really hard to really build like a loaded, goaded dynasty roster. So yeah, those aggressive managers can really get rewarded. I mean, you're not going to win every trade, but if you win more than you lose, you're going to get ahead over time. And then you say it's one quarterback. I got Addison. Okay, so you got the Addison side. Okay, so wait, let me look at it again. Okay, so yeah, you got the side with Addison in the first and 27 and 28. Yeah, I mean, I feel like you could have gotten like a little more maybe, but like, I mean, I definitely don't hate it. I mean, I'm going to assume that's on a rebuilder. I mean, I like that you were able to get off T-Law. Um, yeah, I mean, it's just hard to know what to do with T-Law in Dynasty. I definitely don't feel great about him, so I certainly don't mind getting off of T-Law. I've always liked Addison a lot. I mean, always been super underrated. So yeah, I definitely don't mind getting Addison in place of T-Law. And then yeah, I mean, you get 2 firsts for Rice. I mean, I wish they weren't. I wish one of them wasn't in 28. I at least wish they were like 2 27s, or ideally like a 26 and a 27, or even 2 26. So I mean, that definitely would have made it a lot better. But that's not too far off. I mean, if you really wanted to get the points off your roster to rebuild and try to tank for the 101, and that was the best offer you could get, like I definitely don't mind that. I think that's pretty close to fair. But I think in the future I would have tried to get a little more, because I do think Rice is worth a lot. I mean, I think he's worth every bit of 2 late firsts in like the next 2 rookie drafts, and some kind of intriguing fun thrown on top. But yeah, not a bad deal though. All right, and then you say, I think this context matters. Yeah, one quarterback dynasty, very odd, but T-Law not worth anything. I also got a third. Oh wow, okay, well that changes the trade a lot. Then I was assuming that was a super flex league. So yeah, if that's a one quarterback dynasty league, and yeah, I have played in one of those before. It definitely is a lot different. Although the one I played in was actually a 16-team league, so oddly, it wasn't as different as probably most one quarterback dynasty leagues are, because quarterback still mattered quite a bit, because there were 16 teams. It still created that scarcity of quarterback. So probably like the value of quarterback in that league was probably somewhere between like a 12-team super flex league and a 12-team one quarterback league. But yeah, but I definitely know what you mean about quarterbacks being a lot less valuable in that league. And a one quarterback. So in that case, I mean, getting Addison for T-Law, I mean, I think Addison is a nice upgrade there in a one quarterback league. And then, yeah, you get the 2 firsts for Rice. So yeah, I think that's a very solid trade then. Yeah. So nice job on that. And then Edson, you say pivoting through, what about team value? I'm ranked first on KTC in value for both dynasties. The team I'm contending in is the one I'm 4-3, soon to be 4-4, with Penix, JD, and T-Law on a super flex. Okay, so let's see. So what exactly are you asking here? You're asking about team value. Are you asking just like how important that is? I mean, in terms of like, I mean, it's hard to measure team value exactly. I mean, it's kind of subjective. Well, I mean, especially like, I mean, obviously, like sites like KTC and Dynasty Daddy. I mean, they attempt to give you this like a black and white, like objective measurement of, okay, here's exactly how much value you have on your dynasty team. I mean, you really do have to take that with a grain of salt, though. Um, I mean, there are a ton of flaws with KTC, and then even like Dynasty Daddy is like based off of like the KTC rankings, which are like crowdsourced. Um, and there's often a disconnect between like KTC values and like actual real life values, like in real dynasty leagues, like in terms of like what people actually value and what order and to what degree they value certain players. There's usually a disconnect between the two. So yeah, I wouldn't put too much into that. I mean, obviously, like you want to accumulate as much value as you can, and not as measured by KTC or Dynasty Daddy or something like that, but just value in terms of what value to be. Because I mean, really, I mean, if you play in multiple dynasty leagues, it sounds like you have two of them. I mean, if you're a pretty active manager and if you're watching, a dynasty savvy live stream at, 4 a.m. Eastern time, I mean, you're probably pretty tuned into like dynasty values. And I mean, you just get a good sense of it just from playing in multiple leagues and, negotiating and sending out trade offers and completing trades. So when I say value, I would measure it just based on your own knowledge of dynasty values from playing in dynasty leagues. I mean, that's really like the best way. And of course you want to accumulate as much value as you can. I mean, that's definitely an important thing. I mean, pretty much like in dynasty, I mean, there are two things that matter that you're trying to get the most of possible: fantasy points and value. So you have to do both. You can't just prioritize one and neglect the other. That's not going to go very well. If you only prioritize fantasy points and not value, your team's going to age out and you're going to be in a bad spot. And then if you just prioritize value and not fantasy points, you're going to have a lot of that ADV, that artificial dynasty value, but you're probably not going to win many matchups or many championships or much prize money, many winnings. So yeah, you really gotta, both are important. Like you have to take care of both of them and try to get both of them as high as possible. All right. And then Edson, you say, yeah, team value, like how can I maximize the trade value? I have Amon-Ra St. Brown, Gibbs, Judkins with those quarterbacks. So in terms of dynasty value, doesn't sound like you finished the question there. Let me know exactly what you're asking there. And then you say the quarterback's been killing me though. Okay. Yeah. So I assume that you're talking about the league where you have like Penix and Jaden Daniels and T-Law. Yeah. I mean, that's brutal. I mean, yeah. So you say you're 4-3, soon to be 4-4. I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm surprised you even have a winning record right now with those quarterbacks. So it's definitely a credit to the rest of your team. And yeah, I can see why, having studs like St. Brown and Gibbs and Judkins. So yeah, those guys have definitely been carrying your team despite the bad production from your quarterbacks. So yeah, I mean, in terms of like how to manage that situation, I mean, yeah, I mean, obviously like you're going to want to improve your quarterback situation. I mean, I guess like the first question is that situation going to get better on its own at all? Or could it possibly? Could Jaden Daniels get healthy? I think he was only supposed to miss this game, but I know he missed some games earlier in the season. So, the vibes definitely don't feel great about Jaden Daniels in terms of his health right now. I mean, in one of my dynasty leagues in the league chat, someone even called him, RG3 Junior or, RG4, I don't know how young or old you are, Edson, but yeah. So hopefully you know who RG3 is. Been a little while since he played, but basically, just in case you're really young and have no clue who that is, like he's very similar, like mobile quarterback to Jaden Daniels. Had an awesome rookie season, was rookie of the year, and then just basically suffered with injuries and was like never anything after that. So it is a scary thought. I mean, they both played for the Commanders or Washington. So I'm really hoping Jaden Daniels doesn't end up like that. definitely makes you a little nervous. Okay, so you say you're 28, Robert. Okay, yeah, just making sure. Hey, you never know. Yeah, I definitely hope that's not the case for Jaden Daniels. I'm still really optimistic about him. I mean, I think he's a great buy low in Dynasty. So obviously you already own him. So I definitely like wouldn't panic about him. I definitely wouldn't be looking to sell him because I really don't think you'd get much. And honestly, you wouldn't be getting much if you tried to. Well, wait, did you trade away T Law? Because you mentioned that trade where you got Addison in the two first. So yeah, let me know if you still have T Law, or maybe you own T Law on both teams and you just trade him away on one. If you still own him on a team, yeah, again, like I don't think you're going to get much for him. I don't think you get much for Penix right now. He's been up and down and not that great overall, and he's injured now. So you really can't move any of those quarterbacks and get, what you would hope to get for any of them. So you probably just got to hang on to those three and hope that they improve their play, start scoring some more fantasy points. I mean, I think there's hope for all of them. I mean, I don't think any of them are like a lost cause by any means. Um, but I mean, maybe like one thing you could do. I mean, one thing that comes to mind for me is like this past off season, I had a share of Tua in Dynasty, and I managed to like upgrade him to like Josh Allen. Now it costs a lot. It wasn't cheap. I basically had to pay um, a projected early 26 first. I mean, it was going to be like almost like the guaranteed like 101, 102, 103 type. And also had to pay, I believe, like a late projected 26 first. I think it was my own. Although I'm actually not doing too well in that league. So it might actually end up being like more like a mid first. And plus like Tua. I think that was basically like the heart of the trade. There may have been like a few other smaller pieces involved on either end. But if you can find like a rebuilder that maybe doesn't mind like gambling on one of these young quarterbacks that have disappointed a little, like a Penix or a T Law. Like I said, I wouldn't be looking to move Jaden Daniels. He's just too good. But yeah, like the question would be like, what could you add to Penix or T Law and package together and send to a rebuilder to get like a stud, like a Josh Allen, or I know Lamar Jackson's banged up right now, but he'd still be someone I'd be interested in acquiring, or Jalen Hurts, or whichever quarterback you like there at the top. I mean, Dart and Drake May would probably be pretty expensive right now because they're so hot and young and everything like that. But I don't know. I mean, see if one of your rebuilders owns like a really, really good quarterback, and see what it would take. Like message them and say like, hey, like what would you need for for this quarterback? What could I add to a Penix or a T Law to tier up? Is that something you'd be interested in? So it doesn't hurt to send a DM and see what's possible. All right, and then here, let me catch up on your comments here. Let's see. Yeah, you say the quarterback's been killing you. Let's see. Oh yeah, you say about RG3. You say I remember seeing it live, bro. It was tragic. Yeah, it was a shame because he was just so awesome as a rookie. I mean, he was amazing for fantasy. I'm pretty sure I drafted him in like my home league that year and got him in like the late rounds. And I mean, he was amazing. I mean, he was like a league winner. And then yeah, just never did that again after that. Just too many injuries and yeah, really disappointing. And then you say, I think JD is straight and T Law and Penix should be good streams. Okay, like good streamers, you mean? Yeah, I think JD will be okay. Hopefully, he just needs like this one game off, and he's back healthy next week and can stay on the field. And yeah, I mean, obviously, like T Law's on the bye, and then yeah, Penix is injured, so yeah, I mean, you can't stream him this week, but yeah, hopefully they're healthy, and obviously they'll be off the bye. T Law will be off the bye next week, so yeah, hopefully they'll both be available to you next week. And then you say that's another league. Only trade out there is the Stroud owner is somehow still interested in T Law. Okay, I mean, yeah, I mean Stroud has been. I mean, I don't know. I'd have to like look up and see his like points per game this year. Maybe I'll look that up right here. And I remember he had like the massive game against the Ravens. I don't know if that was like his only good game this year. I do own him in my home redraft league. I am going to be starting him this week. So, I mean, I'm hoping he's on the path here to a really good season. I'm hoping that game against the Ravens was a sign of things to come. I mean, obviously we can't expect him to just go bananas like that every week here, but let's see how good Stroud has been. All right, quarterbacks. I'm pulling up the points per game here. Season average. All right, let's see here. Where does Stroud rank? Looks like Stroud is, and I'm looking this up for a 6-point passing touchdown league just for context. Okay, so in 6-point passing touchdown leagues, he's the QB 19 in points per game. He's averaging 18.8 fantasy points per game. Okay, I mean, so it's not amazing, but I mean, it's not bad, but he's a young quarterback. I mean, we think he's a pretty good real life quarterback. I don't know if he has the best offensive line. I mean, his weapons are, jury's kind of out on the weapons. I mean, Nico Collins is hurt. He's got a couple of rookies that I'm really, that I'm excited about, but, are unproven. So, yeah, I mean, he could be on the rise. I mean, so yeah, that Ravens game, he had 37 fantasy points. Helped by the 4 touchdown passes. The week before that, he had 2 touchdown passes. Before that, 1-1-0. Then after the week with 4 touchdowns, he had the bye week. And then he came back last week. It was kind of a tough matchup at Seattle there. He had 1 touchdown, 229 yards. So, yeah, he's been solid this year. He hasn't been amazing. I mean, but gosh, like, I don't know if I'd want to pay like a lot on top of Penix to go to Stroud, because again, I guess it depends on what the price is on Penix. I mean, if the guy says he needs like, basically the equivalent of like 2 firsts and a second, like, I don't know if I'd want to pay that. I mean, I don't know, like, I'm not really sure like what's Stroud's value in Dynasty right now. Like, what would like the average Stroud manager be like asking for Stroud to move off of him? My guess is it'd still probably be around like, 2 firsts, give or take, maybe even, a little over 2 firsts. So yeah, like I'm trying to think, like if you could send Penix and let's say like a mid to late projected 26 first for Stroud, like would I do that? Like, I don't know. I mean, I guess I'd be okay with it, but it doesn't feel like a great process move. Like, I mean, I'd rather try to get like I'd much rather, get like a Dak Prescott, producing at an elite level right now. I mean, I know Dak's not young, but like he still should have like at least like a good handful of really good years ahead of him. I mean, Dak right now is the quarterback 4. I mean, scoring 25.5 points per game. That is compared to, what do we say Stroud was, 18.8. So he's scoring like what, 6 or so points per game more. I mean, that's a huge difference. So yeah, I mean, maybe Dak's not attainable in your league because maybe he's on a contender. But I don't know. I mean, maybe you could still tempt the Dak owner. You could say, I don't know. I mean, it'd be a tough sell. It'd be a tough sell to try to go to the Dak owner and steal him away. And hey, I'll give you a Penix. And I mean, it probably had to be something pretty nice on top. So yeah, that is tough. But I wouldn't want to like absolutely break the bank for Stroud. That doesn't feel like that huge of an upgrade from Penix, at least just from my perspective. All right. Let's catch up on the chat. Hey, we still got 5 people watching. Good to have everyone here. Definitely drop us a like. And yeah, make sure you're subscribed. Really easy way to support the channel. Really appreciate it. All right. And let's see. Last comment that I haven't read here. You say, Edson, you say, but he'd want something else on top. Yeah, on top of Penix. Yeah, certainly. An offer that I declined from him was Stroud, Henderson, and a 27 first for Amon-Ra and T-Law. Oh, God, he's trying to get Amon-Ra off you. Okay, he was offering you Stroud, Henderson, and 27 first. Yeah, that doesn't sound too good. I mean, just even if T-Law wasn't in there, I mean, just for Amon-Ra, you feel like you'd want – I'd probably rather have Amon-Ra than Stroud at this point. So maybe Amon-Ra would equal Stroud. I don't know, maybe Stroud and Henderson. And that's like a first for T-Law. So yeah, I mean, it's not like a terrible offer, like on paper, theoretically, but Yeah, that doesn't feel great. I mean, obviously, if you're a contender, you're not looking to lose Amon-Ra, uh, and then you're basically replacing him with Henderson and a first. Like, yeah, that doesn't feel too good. So yeah, I definitely don't blame you for declining that one. And then you say Dak owner has made like 3 trades all time. Oh Lord, that's the worst. When there's that player you want to trade for, and he's just like stuck. He's like siloed on that team of the manager that like rarely ever makes any deals. So yeah, that's rough. I can certainly relate to that. Like there are usually at least like 1 or 2 of those guys in just about every dynasty league. Sometimes more, unfortunately. Uh, but yeah, that's rough. I mean, you can still try. Doesn't hurt to sign an offer. Um, yeah, I mean, there are some ways to like get the attention of that like dynasty manager that is kind of tough to reach. Um, I don't know. I feel like Blake and I were talking about this recently. I'm not sure if I can remember exactly what they were. Let me think about that, but I got to like refresh my memory on it. But I feel like Blake and I were kind of brainstorming about some ways like that because there have been instances where I've like had that manager like not only do they not make a lot of trades, but also anytime I send them like a DM or something, ask them like, oh, what do you want for this player or whatever, they like, some managers will just like they won't even respond to that. Like there was like this like one manager in particular where I realized like I don't know if he's ever actually sent me a message. I don't think he's ever sent me one. I don't think he's ever responded to one. It's just like, is this even a real person? Like, is this like a bot plane? Like, I was starting to wonder, but actually at one point recently, I I'm trying to remember exactly how it happened, but somehow I broke through and I actually like started a conversation with him, and he actually ended up being like a pretty cool guy. Um, and actually it turned out he's in a ton of dynasty leagues, and I mean like an absurd number. Like you wouldn't even believe me if I told you the number, and that's probably why I wasn't hearing from him a lot because he's trying to like manage like over 100 dynasty leagues. Yeah, that's actually what he said. So, but yeah, but sometimes you can break through. So I don't know. Let me think about that. It's kind of late. Like, I feel like my brain's shutting down here. So probably not going to be able to stream too much longer, but this has been a lot of fun. Yeah, first solo stream. And I wasn't sure how this would go, but appreciate, that so many of you still tuned in, even though it's just me and even though it's like really late and everything like that. So definitely happy with how this stream has turned out here. It's been great chatting with all you guys. But yeah, I'll stay on for a few more minutes here. I'll answer any last minute questions you guys have here. Let me see if there are any comments here in the chat that I haven't gotten to yet. Let's see. You say, yeah, Edson, you say, yeah, I've done those methods and I think I've gone too far because I've taken some good pieces from Mans. Okay. Yeah, let me know exactly like which methods you're referring to. Yeah, I mean, do you have any strategies for how to kind of break through to those managers that don't make a lot of deals? Like, I'd definitely be interested to hear. I'm always always looking to learn new tips and new strategies and everything like that. So yeah, I mean, that's what makes Dynasty so fun is that there's so many like different strategies that go into it. There's so many different ways you can think about it. And then Edson, you say he traded me CMC for a 27 first before the season. Then I ended up flipping CMC for Gibbs. So I know he felt away. Okay. So this is the manager that doesn't do a whole lot of trades. So yeah, assuming I'm correct about that. I mean, yeah, it's good that you were at least able to get one deal with him in the off season. So yeah, I mean, see if you can rekindle the conversation there and ask him, is he looking to make any moves right now? And is there a mutually beneficial trade that you guys could make right now? So yeah, it doesn't hurt to explore it. I mean, if you DM him, I mean, tag him in the DM, he's probably more likely to see it. And yeah, I don't know, get creative with the message, like try to get his attention in some way. And then Edson, you say, all my leagues, it's a bunch of friends, so I just hit them up. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely good when you're playing with friends and you have that connection and rapport with them. It definitely makes it easier to communicate with them and get in touch with them and get deals done. I mean, I feel like one of the biggest things that prevents trades from getting done is a lack of trust. When one or both managers feels like this other manager is just trying to screw me here somehow. I feel like that's what creates this like mistrust and makes people like too suspicious to, get a trade done. But I feel like if you trust the other person, and it's easier to trust someone that I feel like you're a lot more likely to let your guard down a bit and be open to actually making a fair deal. So that's how I look at things. So yeah, I definitely feel like I get a lot more trades done with people I know, whether they're friends in real life or family, or maybe I don't know them in real life, but I kind of become friendly with them through playing in a league with them. I definitely think that helps a lot. So actually, one thing that I recommend, just in general, in terms of wanting, trying to get as many trades done as you can, is, I mean, one, just like be polite, like be nice, like be friendly to your league mates, just like, be a good person. But also try to get to know them a little bit, like strike up some conversation. It doesn't always just have to be like strictly about the trade. I mean, not that you're like, forcing anything, but, I mean, just let things happen naturally. I mean, a lot of times, like when I'm like negotiating trades, a lot of times we'll end up just kind of like talking some football or whatever. And, you kind of get to know each other a bit. And once you kind of establish a little bit of a connection like that, all of a sudden, like I was saying, like you both kind of let your guards down a little bit. And all of a sudden it's like, you just feel like you trust the person a little more and vice versa. And it just suddenly seems a little easier to hey, let's see if we can get something done here. And I don't know, like it's hard to explain, but it just seems like a lot of the roadblocks that are kind of inherently there, just like suddenly like come down, and all of a sudden it's just like a lot easier to like get a fair deal done with that person. So definitely recommend just, being friendly to your league mates, get to know them. And I mean, it's a fun thing to do anyways. It's just fun to get to know your league mates a bit. All right. And then you say, Edson, how you feel about Spears? I'm set to start him in a redraft. Should I look again at the waiver before I follow through? Yeah, I don't mind Spears this week. I mean, I definitely think he's a player that's, starting to kind of slowly trend up a little bit, or at least potentially trend up. I mean, that's kind of the thought. I think a lot of people are hoping that he starts to get more touches. I mean, Pollard hasn't exactly set the world on fire so far. So I think people are speculating that the role of Spears might grow a bit in the coming weeks here. I mean, he's definitely like a fun, young, explosive player. Definitely seems to have some upside if he can just like stay on the field and have a chance to earn some more opportunities through playing well. So yeah, with Pollard not really being that great so far, I think it could potentially give Spears a chance to earn some more touches and make a name for himself and show what he can do. I mean, we've been kind of wanting to see it for a while. I mean, we definitely have seen the flashes. We've definitely seen some spike weeks. So I'm hoping that's the case. I mean, I was disappointed that like Pollard got like 6 targets last week. That was kind of out of the blue. So I hope that's not something that continues too much. But yeah, I don't mind Spears. I don't mind starting Spears as like an RB2 on a week with, a million teams on a bye. Everyone's like a little desperate this week. So I think he's a fine RB2 start. I mean, maybe even a flex start if you really got hit hard by the bye weeks or injuries. So I don't mind him. I mean, he's not like a must start or anything like that, but I think you could do a lot worse than him. All right. And then Edson, you say, LOL, in my one quarterback dynasty, it's actually a startup from a redraft league we've been doing for 10 years. Okay. So what do you mean exactly? You mean it's like the same people from a redraft league? Or did you actually like turn a redraft league into a dynasty? Let me know what you mean exactly there. But you say, I'm the reigning champ. Dudes want to do me no favors. Okay. Big reason I decided to tank from the get-go in a startup. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that can be tough. I mean, it's not always easy being on top. Everyone's trying to take you down. They're jealous of your success. They don't want to do you any favors. Maybe they don't want to trade with you, or maybe they don't want to give you a fair deal. So they're gonna charge you a little tax, to get a deal done. So yeah, I mean, I think it's something. I mean, something we've all experienced before, or anyone that's been on top in a league. So I certainly have dealt with that before. That can be tricky. So I can understand why maybe you just kind of went with a productive struggle approach and just kind of decided to tank from the beginning. Yeah, not a bad way to play that. All right, and then Edson, you say 9 firsts in next 3 years. Holy cow, that's amazing. Then you say already I'm sitting at 3 and 4 with a core of BTJ, Abuka, Addison, Jordan Love, and Herbert. Hey, that sounds pretty good. I mean, 9 firsts in the next 3 years. And on top of that, you got Brian Thomas, Abuka, Addison, Jordan Love, and Herbert. I mean, that's a pretty nice core there of players. And then you got all those firsts. Sounds like you're set up pretty well there. So yeah, you're definitely in a great spot there. So yeah, just keep building around that. But yeah, that's a great spot to be in. I mean, you should definitely be contending by next year. There are a lot of ways you could play that. You could make the picks, you could trade them for veterans, a lot of different things you could do. But yeah, you'll probably be contending by next year, I would think. And then you say, yeah, same people. Okay, cool. Yeah, I was actually thinking of doing that with my redraft league. I mean, I was trying to think like if all 12 managers like would be into Dynasty. I guess I could ask them. Um, even if all 12 weren't down to do a Dynasty league, if even like I don't know, 6 to 8 of them were or something like that, it would still kind of be cool to have that as like the core of a Dynasty league. And then I could always like fill in the rest with some new people or different people or whatever. So yeah, but that's pretty cool that like your entire redraft league was like down to try Dynasty. So yeah, I'm not sure if I've ever heard of that happening before, but it's funny because like I was thinking about doing that with my long running home redraft league. I mean, it's been around for like 25 years. I pretty much have been the commissioner of it the whole time. So yeah, you're kind of making me think about doing that myself, or think about it more because that is a thought I've had. So that's pretty cool. And it sounds like it's worked out pretty well for you. Let's see. And then Edson, you say, yeah, for startup, different way to go at it. The first pick overall is determined by consolation bracket. Ooh, interesting. So, oh wow, okay. So you don't do the thing where you can like tank for picks and everything like that. So it's just based on the consolation bracket. Like, wow, like that's pretty wild. I mean, none of my dynasty leagues are like that. So I'm not sure I would love that, but I don't know. I'd have to think about that. I mean, I'm sure it adds a little fun to it, in terms of like the consolation bracket being, very exciting all of a sudden. But not sure I love that though. And then Edson, you say, so it's important to still have a good core that wins games, sitting at 3 and 4, trying to secure the number 1 seed in the consolation bracket. Okay. Oh, I see. Yeah. So you got to have some good players because you got to win those matchups in the consolation bracket so you can win the 101. So yeah, that definitely makes the strategy pretty interesting there because like, yeah, you can't just like completely tank. You gotta have some good players there. So it definitely makes it interesting. All right, and then Josh Ryan, you say welcome, or I'm sorry, you say, do you think Sanders is worth stashing if you need a quarterback for later in the season? Okay, yeah. So I assume you're asking about Shador Sanders there, the Browns quarterback. I'm assuming this is a dynasty. I mean, is this a dynasty or redraft question? I mean, in redraft, it would have to be a pretty deep league to be stashing backup Browns quarterback. So I'm going to assume this is a dynasty question. Yeah, I mean, Shador Sanders should definitely be owned in Dynasty. Of course, he was supposed to go a lot higher in the NFL draft, ends up slipping, but I mean, a lot of people still think he's pretty talented, and Dylan Gabriel hasn't been setting the world on fire. So I think it's a pretty safe bet that we'll probably see Shador Sanders make some starts at some point. So yeah, I mean, he should certainly be owned in Dynasty. I mean, there's certainly some potential there. And in redraft, it'd have to be either like a crazy deep league or like a super flex league to be stashing them. But yeah, I do own Shador Sanders. Let's see, I think I had him in like two dynasty leagues. I traded one away. What did I trade him for? I would basically trade him for like Darren Waller before he got injured. Um, but I mean, hey, I mean, Waller was hot at the time, right? So it doesn't look great now, but at the time I thought it was pretty nice. And then, yeah, I'm in one other dynasty league. And yeah, I'm happy to stash him. Like, don't have huge expectations. He might just end up being a zero, but there could be something there. I mean, it'll be interesting to see, when he gets some starts, how he performs. Because he could be the kind of guy where if he does perform, you know, all of a sudden people remember like, oh wait, this is a talented quarterback that was supposed to go in the first round of the NFL draft, and he could kind of get steamed up a little bit. But I guess the only problem is if like the Browns aren't very good, if they have a bad record and they're picking high in the first round next year's draft, unless Shador Sanders really lights the world on fire, they could easily be taking another quarterback. So that would be the risk there. But yeah, definitely some potential. It'll be interesting to see what he does. So again, not huge expectations, but I think it'll be interesting to see. All right. Well, I think I'm going to call it a night here. It is 4:30 a.m. My time here on the East Coast. But hey, this has been super fun. So thank you everyone for joining me here. Definitely drop a like on your way out. And yeah, if you enjoy these streams, normally I have Blake with me. But either way, if you enjoy these streams and you want them to continue, best thing you can do to help support the channel is just make sure you're subscribed. Really helps a lot. We're trying to grow the channel, get to 200 subscribers. So really appreciate everyone's support. Appreciate all the conversation in the live chat. Yeah, been super fun. So hope I was able to help with some of the start sit decisions. And yeah, Edson says good stream. Yeah, appreciate it. And yeah, good luck everyone with your matchups tomorrow. Yeah, and yeah, go follow your intuition. When in doubt, ignore the matchups and definitely start your best players. And don't be afraid to go with your gut feeling. And the best advice I can give: avoid last-minute roster changes. Those very rarely work out well. So, if you have someone in, don't switch it like 5 minutes before kickoff. Because usually you just do that because of anxiety, and usually your first instinct was the correct one. So those are my final words of advice for the night. Good luck with your matchups. Enjoy the game of football. And we will probably see you Wednesday for our regular live stream. Have a good night.